I assume this is one of the reasons why they wanted to bring him in.
This is going to be a fast game. I feel like the Restoration Shaman would have struggled against DK Rogue, so this is a good pick.
I think that's what Penguins were going for. They wanted to play the Holy Death Knight Assassination Rogue into a Restoration Shaman. I feel like if he was on a Restoration Shaman, it would have been good night quite early. The fact that he locked in the Restoration Druid is a little bit better for Demon Hunter DK Nation. I'm kind of curious to see how this matchup plays out. The Unholy Death Knight and the Assassination Rogue, they do a lot of damage. You can see right away, Longtime is going to be caught into a sap and now a kidney shot. Penguins, they're going to be looking to go all in on this Restoration Druid.
Oh, but at the same time, DJ Alex, the target here of the Demon Hunter Death Knight, a bit of a healer smork race in game number 1. Which healer is going to fall to the pressure first? DJ Alex appears to be struggling the most, even with Avenging Wrath up, dipping incredibly low on health. Does not want to go down without using his precious Divine Shield at the same time. Lontar, surprisingly under a lot of pressure as well. DJ Alex almost getting taken out there, connects one big heal. Lontar into the stun. That's going to proc his Gladiator's Safeguard. He's no longer going to be able to rely on that shield. No more Gladiator's Medallion, no more Darkness. Lots of cooldowns burned down for DHDK Nation, and in the past I would have said that the Restoration Druid is favored in this race, but perhaps the inexperience of Lontar on the Druid and the recent nerfs to the Restoration Druid, it's not so one-sided.
No Trinket, no Bark Skin. Arma knows this. He has to keep Matic away. DJ Alex, he needs a freedom. Finally, Matic gets the Blessing of Freedom so he can reconnect onto Lontar, but he may have bought enough time. Full Hammer of Justice comes in. Can they follow it up with a kidney shot? Matic trying to get there. Shadow Step kidney shot, manages to find it. Lontar, is he going to be able to survive? He has the Bark Skin. He has the Iron Bark. And it looks like he's going to be able to cross the map. He gets Death Grip back for a second. He peels on Matic and Arma. I don't think Lontar is going to be able to heal through this damage unless Fuston and Arma can actually peel Matic and Arma away.
The one disbenefit here is that DJ Alex's Blessing and Protections cannot remove magical stuns, which is basically all of the stuns in DHDK Nation, but at the same time, this is good pressure on Lontar. They pull basically the remainder of his defensive cooldowns, including the Death Knight's anti-magic zone. If DJ Alex can recover, their team's going to be in a lead, but he's caught in crowd control. Matic is already low on health. Responsive by the side of Penguins, holding on to those cooldowns for some time, but now with Avenging Wrath up, if DJ Alex catches a big Holy Light, he's going to go back to full health, likely. One. Does he get interrupted on the second? Doesn't. DJ Alex stays alive. Now Lontar's in a lot of trouble. He dies
he's
on
gone.
the next stun.
It's over.
He gets caught out of bear form. And
it's done.
Penguins are going to be taking out DHDK Nation with a composition that we have never seen in some time, at least with the Paladin variant. It appears to be an effective healer killer.
I could see the character name of Houston's monk, and he's called Houston Feed. So I guess we're going to really see how well versed he is on that Windwalker. Love to see it from Penguins. They're really trying to lionize the healer tunneling strategy. This is game 2. It's the big map. It's the choice of DHDK Nation that you guys put a 67% chance to win this one. Let's see how it does play out in game 2.
I think it's awesome about this series is that we're on cup number 4 of the summer season. Spring season's already over, and we still have a new team coming into the mix. DHDK Nation have been kind of on a rise, getting to the top 6 area roughly on average. Penguins are just completely new roster coming together here for the last couple of cups, and they're bringing in some interesting strategies. In the current meta, we've not seen any teams opt for all-in compositions. Most of the teams have just been playing very passive, defensive-oriented strategies. This team comes in and just wants to run the other team over as quickly as possible. It's kind of refreshing to see a new team come in with this type of strategy, and I'm wondering what it does to the higher-ranked teams currently on points. Does it force them into more aggressive play styles, or will they get dampened out by the more experienced teams? This match is definitely one that will prove that. We do see Matic the main focus for DHDK Nation. I think that is a good target. You can definitely limit the Rogue's mobility, force him to spend a lot of energy on things like Feint to reduce damage rather than going aggressive onto the Druid. We already see a Blessing of Protection forced from DJ Alex. Arma is still running at the Druid, and I'm wondering if Matic is going to go for a split strategy, because it's quite difficult for him to connect to the Druid. It looks like almost impossible, as he has to trade evasion on very low health.
Vanish.
This is not looking good for Penguins. Matic simply cannot get to Lontar. This is a good composition for DHDK Nation. Good strategy, good map, good execution, and it's up to Penguins to figure out what they want to do here. Perhaps they have to peel back, but do they win if they attack the Windwalker instead?
I don't know. Kitty shot Smokebomb. What are they going to be able to get done? Houston doesn't have to Trinket out, but he does manage to get the Fist of Fury off. Still taking quite a bit of damage. Full blind on Lontar. He has to Trinket, and now Lontar is actually quite vulnerable in this situation. If we see Penguins go for an all-in where they get the kidney shot into the Hammer of Justice, potentially they could take him down, but Houston's still a little bit on the back foot right now. Lontar struggling, doesn't want to overcommit defensive cooldowns because he knows more than likely Penguins, they want to make a swap on him a little bit later on. Houston into another kidney shot. DJ Alex looking for some heals, gets interrupted. Nicely done by Joel, putting on a lot of pressure right now, but Houston forced to port away defensively. Unfortunately, that allows DJ Alex to actually recover in this situation.
DHDK Nation have forced Penguins off of their all-in strategy with this comp swap and the strategy on the map. It's looking like they cannot just chase Lontar down. So both teams are just going to be brawling in midfield. The Rogue, the main target here still for DHDK Nation, and they actually try to set up a swap as Lontar moved into midfield. They're going to respect the Vendetta, trade the anti-magic zone. May not be enough. At the same time, Maddox being counter-pressured away. Ring of Peace to protect Lontar. Maddox unable to connect. Decent cleave damage onto Arma as well. DJ Alex needs to recover 2 members of the team, but with Avenging Wrath, he should be able to do so. Actually running the Blinding Light. I think DJ Alex was expecting to be all in himself, so he wanted to run the Blinding Light to crowd control the Windwalker and the Death Knight. That's definitely a high-level strategy there to run that talent a bit preemptive, but they're not actually going for that target. Finally, though, we see Penguins able to connect onto Lontar. In just a few seconds of being able to connect, they force basically all of his defense, potentially just outright killing him if they can stay on target as his defense begins to fall. Lontar on the run, dashing very far away. Matic using Vanish to escape and potentially avoid some Chains of Ice. DJ Alex trying to make his way across as well, but the Chains of Ice of Joel is making it quite difficult. Arma under pressure. He traded some cooldowns to get aggressive, using the Icebound Fortitude to get out of stuns and deal damage. Now DJ Alex is exposed in midfield with nothing left. The all-in on Lontar doesn't work, and now DJ Alex is in a lot of trouble. Connects the Divine Favor, but look at his defense, look at his mana. Penguins, their all-in strategy, it's starting to not work as DHDK Nation drag this fight on.
Yeah, they're looking good. The solid defense is paying off here for DHDK Nation, but Lontar's still a little bit vulnerable. He's in a full blind, opting not to trinket out. Houston just wants to keep himself alive. He preemptively portals away. He's in a very safe position, dropping Ring of Peace and denies that offense entirely. Lontar sits through the full blind, the full Hammer of Justice, and it's actually Matic who could potentially die. Beautiful plays here from DHDK Nation. Matic, nothing left. Full bash onto Alex. He's got the Blessing of Sacrifice, but unfortunately he's still in crowd control, and Maddox in a lot of trouble. Could easily fall in the situation. Arma trades out from Houston. He wants to just remain aggressive. He actually gets it on the kidney shot, but he has to trinket. And now Houston, this is a disaster. Houston could easily fall. If DJ Alex can hold on a little bit longer, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it. Matic just gets smoked in a leg sweep. And DHDK Nation, they put a point on the board.
Walker, Holy Paladin, I expected it to be a Fire Mage, of course, but I think nonetheless it should be good.
Yeah, I mean, this is a composition and a matchup we saw M2KC play against the boys. Jamelia actually locked in the Frost Mage. It was with an Assassination Rogue instead of a Windwalker Monk, but I think this is a fairly solid composition. There's not too many great targets for DHDK Nation to actually go after. The Windwalker Monk is going to offer great support for the Frost Mage. Of course, DJ Alec is going to be able to assist Yes Dave in getting crowd control on Lontar if they do decide to go for a strategy like that.
Yeah, we do see Lontar the opening target, which was a bit peculiar from Penguins, but they got his Gliders Medallions. Nice, susceptible to crowd control. Decent push onto Yes Dave here from DHDK Nation. DJ Alex going to respond here with Avenging Wrath. It's a big boost to healing. Counterspell on Lontar, putting his team behind. 2 targets low on health. Lontar needs to avoid crowd control and heal them at the same time. Can be a difficult task with where he's positioned. Now in the paralysis, DJ Alex moves over for follow-up. Hammer of Justice secured. Joel in a surprising amount of trouble, but Yes Dave equally so. DJ Alex stabilizes with the Divine Favor. Joel exchanges his Icebound Fortitude. Major cooldown for the side of DHDK Nation, though, out of the way, whereas Penguins, their defense has not even really had the surface scratched just yet. I would put them in the lead.
Well, I mean, look at Yes Dave. Matic has Ring of Peace for him. I think he's playing Ride the Wind. They have Blessing of Freedom from DJ Alec. And of course, you're a mage, so you have lots of defense with Temporal Shield, Ice Barrier, Shimmers. DHDK Nation, if their main strategy is to go after Yes Dave, I don't know how they're going to win this game. I think they have to try to make swaps onto DJ Alec. Yes Dave is going to be just way too durable. Of course, DJ Alec as well, playing the Holy Paladin, is going to have pretty good mana management in this game. Houston playing Ride the Wind, Joel able to catch that wave. and get on top of YesDave for just a moment, but the Blessing of Freedom once again comes in. YesDave able to kite away. I really want to see YesDave not run on top of that Ride the Wind, as it just allows Joel and Houston way too much uptime. He needs to cut away from that as soon as possible. Great pressure here coming in from DHDK Nation. This could be the first ice block. Comes in, YesDave getting low. DJ Alex doesn't want to throw away the game. Does he have the heals? Finally, YesDave gets topped off, but it was at the cost of a Blessing of Protection and the Gladiator Safeguard.
Can't really afford to be losing your counter pick. This is the map selected and comp selected in favor of Penguins. If they lose this, they're going to lose the swing match advantage. We do anticipate the Windwalker Mage to do well in this matchup, but maybe perhaps not with the Paladin variant. Lonetar getting swapped too. Is he going to get dropped? He's going to jump away, try to get to safety, still low on health. Fortunately for him, Houston getting polymorphed and healed to full, so now Lonetar no longer needs to worry about him. Matic and DJ Alex are trying to 2 versus 1 Lonetar. Meanwhile, YesDave has to deal with Houston and Joel. I think YesDave loses that 2v1 much more quickly than Lonetar, so DJ Alex is going to give up the chase, move back, stabilize his Mage. Joel sitting through some crowd control as Lonetar is unable to dispel, more focused on just surviving, waiting for his Gladiator's Medallion. Lonetar knows that in the next stun it could be dangerous, so he wants to stay away. Now Penguins have realized that he's too far away. They're switching targets. Going after Houston. If they pull the Touch of Karma and can use a Blessing of Protection to remove it, they may just outright kill the Windwalker. Houston exploiting Mugambala to his own benefit. Perhaps this map backfiring a bit for the Penguins.
Yeah, but the thing is, if the Penguins can last long enough in dampening, I think that's really where their advantage comes in. They can target down Joel. His self-healing is going to be limited via dampening, and I just think the uptime of Joel and Houston is really going to start being a problem. I think if YesDave kites properly and Penguins rotates through the defensive properties, he should be able to live for a really long time. We'll just have to see if they can actually pull it off. Ultimate Sacrifice comes in from DJ Alex. That's going to keep YesDave nice and healthy, but now they're just making a swap on DJ Alex. If they get to Divine Shield here, this is going to be massive. DJ Alex falling further and further behind. Nice Ring of Peace denies DJ Alex from positioning up top once again. Houston portals aggressively, trying to get on top of Alex, but he's just going to be going after YesDave. Their main target is going to be the Mage. They want to shut him down as much as possible, but I like the fact that they're going after Alex, taxing his mana that way.
Yeah, if they can't make it to dampening with the Paladin having mana, then they're not going to win by going after Joel the Death Knight. That would be one strategy for them. Perhaps they should look to trade ice blocks for drinks. That's one way that Penguins could make it into deep dampening, but so far, Penguins appear to be more of an aggressive team, so I'm not even sure if picking a composition that's stylized around defense and dragging the fight on is going to suit them. So far, I would say the DHDK Nation are in control. Lonetar anticipating some damage, Iron Barking himself prematurely, now caught without it in the paralysis. DJ Alex rolls up on his steed, landing a big Hammer of Justice. YesDave needs to get over there quickly. He's going to blink in, go for a Cone of Cold. Doesn't look like Frozen Orb available, unfortunately, on that attack, so Lonetar will escape quite easily. Frozen Orb now instead dropped onto Joel and Houston. YesDave focusing on using that for crowd control, getting some split pressure, trying to make Lonetar come back to heal his DPS members so that potentially they can switch to him in a stun later on. The strategy is certainly effective, but they're going to need that 20-30% dampening mark likely.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if they can hold on. Like you said, DJ Alex, his mana not doing nearly as well as we'd expect for a Holy Paladin. Lonetar and Hammer of Justice. YesDave looking for a potential Ring of Frost, but I don't think he's actually playing a Ring of Frost, so it's going to be unfortunate for him if Lonetar can get in bear form during those moments of opportunity when the Hammer of Justice comes up. YesDave doesn't have the Ring of Frost to actually secure that crowd control, but there is good pressure here for Penguins. YesDave, of course, getting a little bit low also. Safeguard procs out. Houston taking some damage. What do we want to see from Penguins? At some point, I feel like DJ Alex, he has to sneak away, try to recover his mana, because it's not looking too great for them, Sid.
I would say it's looking abysmal at this point. Swing match is likely going to be going in favor of DHDK Nation. YesDave Temporal Shield, but along with the Blessing of Sacrifice, DJ Alex is going to have to heal through all of that redirected damage. Deciding to activate Divine Favor, stunned on it, putting DJ Alex even further behind. Pressure onto 3 members of the team. Dampening has continued to rise now at 8%. Lonetar jumps in to go for a stun on the Mage, but eats a stun of his own, but he's under no pressure. It's DJ Alex that's still on the back foot. His Gladiator Safeguard going to proc. Big Absorb out of the way. Blessing of Protection out of the way. Penguins' defense is starting to run thin, at least onto DJ Alex, as well as his mana. It is not looking good here for the Penguins. Perhaps they should have switched to a Restoration Druid themselves here on the bigger map. That would have fit the playstyle of their composition in this specific matchup a lot better. That, or they potentially should have just stayed with the same composition, the Death Knight Rogue, or even a Rogue Mage, something more aggressive. I feel like this is a team that they're finding their success off the aggressive strategies. When they're playing these dampening stall tactics, it seems like they're not nearly as effective.
And this could be the first ice block, and it is. Yesterday forced into his ice block. We're at 7 minutes elapsed in the game, 13% dampening. Joel under fire, taking a little bit of pressure. If they can hold on just a little bit longer, that's when the Paladin is going to start overwhelming Joel. I mean, Matic, yesterday they're going to be able to put a lot of pressure. Hammer of Justice now on Lone Tar. Joel forced to use the Icebound Fortitude. That's a big defensive cooldown they managed to get out at basically the perfect time in the match. 15% dampening, that means Joel's not going to have it available, and Joel's actually just taking an overwhelming amount of damage. Lone Tar forced to trade out the Iron Bark. It's a ring of peace as well, try to keep Joel alive. Yes, Dave's still just kiting circles around this map with the Blessing of Freedom, with some of the support that his teammates give him. Matic and DJ Alex, of course, going to be able to help him out, but look at DJ Alex's mana, Sid. It is just completely emptied.
It is totally tapped at this point, and I don't think they're going to be able to make it out alive here shortly. If Houston and Joel can get on target and run this Paladin over, it is likely to be victory here for DHDK Nation. But they are having a difficult time connecting. Lone Tar looks like he maybe even trying to sit down for a drink, but his mana is in a confident position. He doesn't even really need to. More than enough defense for his teammates to keep this battle going on. Yes, Dave still the target, but might be a bit of a mistake. Lone Tar gets interrupted. Yes, Dave with a nice power play. DJ Alex with good follow-up. Anti-magic shield going to be fading. Joel could be in a bit of trouble. Iron Bark still available. Let's see if Lone Tar decides to commit it during this attack. He'd like to make it through without it. That way he can extend it for the next crowd control chain. It looks like he's slowly but surely stabilizing. Perhaps not. Touch of Death activated by both sides. This could be a high-pressure situation as DJ Alex has no mana remaining. Blessing of Sacrifice going to soak up that Touch of Death. However, it redirects the damage to the Paladin, and Houston is going to switch to him. This could be a Divine Shield now as well. His Gladiator Safeguard has procced. Joel the target. We've entered that dampening stage, though, where the Death Knight becomes a bit of a liability. Perhaps this is still anyone's match. DJ Alex has to Divine Shield first, but he's got Avenging Wrath up. He's going to be doing a lot more damage and a lot more healing. Lone Tar with not much defense if he gets crowd controlled, but Houston stalls with double leg sweep. Good pressure. Could be the end of Yes Dave. Second ice block out of the way. DJ Alex barely recovering. Touch of Karma now out of the way as well. Basically no defensives left between DJ Alex and Yes Dave. Basically 0 mana remaining. They need a miracle. However, maybe this is the miracle. Double stun onto Houston. Doesn't look like he's got a way out. If they can kill him in 1 second period of time, it would have been victory, but unfortunately not enough damage. Houston gets out of the stun and now is leading the charge.
Yeah, Lone Tar in a paralysis. Are they going to be able to take down Houston? Now there's 2 good targets here for Penguins. DJ Alex just has to keep his team alive. This is when their damage is going to be really overwhelming. Yes, Dave on the back foot just a little bit. Caught into an Asphyxiate Stun. Matic doing everything he can to try to help out his team. Big damage now on Houston. Lone Tar's mana is not doing great. Houston forced to get Iron Bark. He's in a Hammer of Justice. He could easily fall. Do they have the damage? They do. Penguins with their counter pick. I mean, that was a really...
And some of the PvE gear on the tournament server that we're competing on, it's 445 item level. You can see which essences they're running. They have the tier 3 essences, and they have level 55 Azerite next. So they're able to run 1 major and 2 minors with that. So definitely check it out. See what these guys are running, especially with those hot fixes that came in midweek.
Yeah, Yes Dave opening up early on Lone Tar. It looks like we see Penguins getting aggressive onto Lone Tar, and maybe that's what they want to exploit on the smaller map. One of the problems, it seems, with the Demon Hunter Death Knight is your main win condition is late game. So teams that play against it now seem to be getting really aggressive, kind of knowing that they're probably not going to lose until a little bit later on. They can afford to play that aggressive strategy and try to just tunnel down the healer. And I think, in general, that's the main strat. I mean, for Joel and Houston, there's essentially no way they die until a little bit later on. Like, I would be amazed if they fell before that. They just have so much self-healing, a lot of low cooldown, defensive cooldowns they can rotate through. So that's why you see teams just go after the Restoration Druid, as it is essentially the only viable target in the early stages of the match.
Yeah, and I mean, it works. They can just drop Blizzard, snare up the Demon Hunter and the Death Knight, focus on crowd controlling them, and then run at the healer. I think That is definitely the best strategy pre-dampening. DJ Alex already burning his Divine Shield, though. Looks like they're setting up another swap on a Lone Tar. Penguins are playing a lot more aggressive. Bring a piece out of the defense. Great play here by Matic. That's going to net them both Barkskin and the anti-magic zone. Ring of Peace, certainly great utility to deny those team cooldowns from the Demon Hunter and the Death Knight. That is something that Lone Tar is going to have to take into account if he is in a situation where he's relying on the darkness from Houston to save him. Certainly a factor that the Penguins can exploit, and they can afford to play aggressive in this. If they lose, they're still going to have the swing match advantage in game number 5. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Lone Tar to preempt these swaps and be in a good position for his team.
Yep, and DJ Alex, like you said, he's got no Trinket, no Divine Shield, no Blessing of Protection. If he gets caught, he could easily fall. Joel and Houston, if they can sit on top of him, it's going to be massive damage. Yes, they're definitely going to have to peel quite a bit for him. Lone Tar once again the target of choice, but in bear form, I think he should be completely fine. Houston still has the darkness as a defense. DJ Alec gets locked out. He's in a lot of trouble, Sid. Blessing of Protection comes in. If that gets dispelled, it could be lights out. A nice polymorph coming in from Yes Dave, keeping DJ Alex alive. There's going to be no dispel coming in from Houston, but it's still Lone Tar that appears to be on the back foot. Yeah,
Lone Tar struggling, although still has much defense available. Likely wants to save it for when he's stunned. That is usually the situation as a Restoration Druid that you want to be using Barkskin, as you can't use anything else in a stun. However, they're just keeping up the pressure, staying on target. Perhaps with that 10% reduction in healing, we see Lone Tar fall, and the Penguins just advance in the lower side of the bracket. They're bringing these all-in cleaves, and then the Frost Mage melee to try and counter cleave. It's definitely a good strategy from the Penguins overall, perhaps one that could make them have a deep run. A totally new team to the tournament scene, shredding through DHDK Nation so far, putting them on match point, overcoming a huge hurdle in that last game with DJ Alex running completely out of mana and somehow still keeping the team going just long enough to net a kill. Can they do it again here? Can they close out the series? Lone Tar continues to be tunneled down, but Yes Dave is having a difficult time staying on target.
Yeah, Houston still just landing consistent mana riffs onto DJ Alex. His mana is falling further and further behind. And there's been good control from Yes Dave. Unfortunately, his water elemental, I believe, broke that polymorph. Now Lone Tar taking a bit of damage, but he's always been in bear form. It just seems like all the swaps coming in from Penguin are really obvious, really telegraphed. Lone Tar appears to be reading it quite well, and I really worry for DJ Alex in this situation. If Houston and Joel can keep up this uptime, eventually they will be able to get him out of mana, and you can get overwhelmed as a Holy Paladin from these two classes. Luckily, Yes Dave's been able to back him up. Joel actually used the anti-magic shell aggressively to stop a polymorph. Unfortunately for him, it was on Houston, so it didn't get too much value there. And now Joel's going to be caught in the open in a frozen orb. And they're actually going to be swapping to him, looking to punish that aggressive play and that aggressive usage of the anti-magic shell.
All right, let's see if he can get it going here. DJ Alex now very low on mana. Fortunately, Lone Tar is not massively ahead, not more than I would have expected at least. Joel in a bit of trouble, and we're not even into dampening. No defensive cooldowns. That runic power gonna have to, he gets Ring of Peace off the side, but Lone Tar is in position. There's still no Iron Bark. He has to power heal through this. If he gets counterspelled, it could be trouble. Lone Tar jumping away from the Paladin. DJ Alex doesn't want to be anywhere near that Hammer of Justice. Houston continuing the mana rift strategy to burn DJ Alex down. It's surprising that they're not significantly ahead on mana with the mana rift strategy. Yes, Dave stunned up. Big hits here. Ice block traded out. DJ Alex not able to connect the healing time. Consume Magic denies the Divine Favor. Well done by Houston, removing a lot of healing from DJ Alex, putting him behind. It's going to cost him an incredible amount of mana to recover, likely the rest of his mana. Polymorph secured on Lone Tar. Grapple weapon on Joel, denying Death Strike. This is a good combination of crowd control by the Penguins. This is typically a situation where we will see a defensive cooldown. Again, a polymorph catching him, but dampening not high enough. Joel will be able to survive by himself with that Death Strike. Lone Tar is now out of crowd control, easily using Iron Bark to stabilize. I am still surprised by the mana gap right now. You would expect it to be so much bigger in favor of Lone Tar, considering there's a mana rift. Maybe mana rift is just out of the meta at this point.
It might be. I mean, Houston and Joel, they get caught into a leg sweep. There was good pressure there onto Matic. He had to trade out the Karma, so that's not going to be available. And that was a bit of a panic situation for the Penguins. Now Lone Tar gets interrupted. Joel still under fire. Do they have damage to take him down? There's decent pressure, but it's just so early in dampening. I feel like he can keep himself alive for a long period of time. Anti-magic Anti-Magic Shell trades out on that Shatter combo, the Flurry combo coming in from Dave as he gets gripped into a stun. Joel and Houston looking to get aggressive. We need to see a little bit more mana rifts on DJ Alex, and at that point, I feel like the game is just over. But at the same time, we could just see DHDK Nation just go for an all-in damage strategy, just do as much damage as possible onto Dave, force DJ Alex to lose his mana by just putting out pressure. But Houston does manage to snipe a mana rift. DJ Alex completely tapped on mana at this point. Triple Chaos Nova comes in. Dave, this could easily be the second ice block, but it's actually DJ Alex uses the ultimate sacrifice. He gets denied on his Divine Favor heal with the ultimate sacrifice. But if you look, DJ Alex, there's no healing cooldowns left. He's got the Divine Shield, but that's really it. Dave being denied on any crowd control. Houston and Joel just going to town right now onto the team of the Penguins. But there is decent pressure on Joel. Paralysis comes in from Matic onto Lontar. Can he top him off? Joel finally having to play defensive in this match.
All right, Joel finally forced to play defensive as dampening continues to mount up. It felt around the 20 to 28% mark was where it was very difficult for him to self-sustain. A grapple weapon from the Windwalker could also be a factor to closing this match out prior to that 25% dampening mark. Ring of Peace used aggressively. They may need it defensively as Houston is gunning down for the kill into DJ Alex. DHDK Nation looking to take this to a game number 5. DJ Alex on the run, but grip back into the fight. Necrotic Strike is stacking up. Stunned for 1 second. DJ Alex has to respect it, but he has to heal through so much necrotic. He needs some support. Dave moves in with a Frost Nova, but dispelled instantly by Lontar. Polymorph denied by Joel as he continues marching towards the Paladin for the impending kill. Double leg sweep from Matic buys a little bit more time. Lontar moving on top of DJ Alex. I don't think Lontar is running the Cyclone talent, not able to. DJ Alex needs to drink. He's going to be running so far away from the fight to try and attempt this, but with the Demon Hunter on his heels, he is not going to be getting mana anytime soon. Houston into that Metamorphosis thanks to the I-Beam. Stun combo, Mana Rift secured. DJ Alex is now completely out. If he gets Consume Magic on his Divine Favor, I don't think there's any way for him to recover. So he's going to stun the Demon Hunter, wrap around the boxes, go for Divine Favor in a position where it cannot be removed. He is a miracle worker right now on this Paladin. There's absolutely no mana remaining. Matic, he's pushing for a win. Touch of Death active. Joel's going to respect it, activating the Icebound Fortitude. Overlapped a bit with the Iron Bark, but perhaps it's necessary. Dampening out 22%. Second Ice Block forced out of the way of Dave. It's still pretty even. I would say Penguins are behind, but certainly not out yet.
Yeah, well, the good thing is Houston on that Demon Hunter isn't going to be nearly as vulnerable as we saw the Windwalker Monk, which fell in the last game. So it looks like DHDK Nation, they're doing quite well in this matchup. They're going to have to go over after Joel, but he has the Anti-Magic Zone. They have the Anti-Magic Shell. They have Darkness. There's a lot of defensive cooldowns that DHDK Nation still have that they can rotate through. And it looks like it's going to be Penguins on the back foot. But we did see on Mugambala a similar situation. Penguins just sitting behind, getting further and further behind in the matchup. Then eventually it's just overwhelming pressure in dampening that Lontar can no longer heal through. So we see the Penguins hold on a little bit longer, making a little bit deeper in dampening. Joel can definitely be a target in this situation, and it looks like they're going to go for it. Joel taking some pressure. Lontar forced to use the Iron Bark. Paralysis comes in. Dave gets stunned up. Can't really get too much damage off, and Joel gets immediately topped off. Keep in mind, Dave, Sid, he has Cold Snap coming up in 24 seconds. They just need to hold on a little bit longer. Is DJ Alex going to be able to do it is the question.
A little bit longer indeed. If they can manage to pull it off, it would be absolutely astonishing. They have no ice blocks for 12 seconds. 10 seconds. Can DJ Alex keep this going? Maybe they just win. They've got 2 seconds to kill Joel, 1 second to kill him. Darkness gets dropped. Do they have the Ring of Peace? Doesn't look like it. They used it already on Lontar. That's so unfortunate. If they had the Ring of Peace to remove Joel from the defense of the Darkness, I mean, it may not even matter. He's grapple weapon. He can't use Death Strike for 1 more second. Now out of it. More than enough defense to trade. He just needs to not be greedy with it. Still any Magic Shield, any Magic Zone, and Iron Bark. More than enough defense to close the game out. But Divine Shield rotating up in about 16 seconds for Alex. Dave has another ice block. They're battling it out to the absolute bitter end until they are totally tapped on every single resource possible. Touch of Death rolling. Will Iron Bark be enough here at 33% dampening? Matic under fire. There's a Blessing of Protection left in the tank, but he's in crowd control. Gladiator Safeguard going to proc for Matic. It needs to be enough. Divine Favor up. He gets it. Matic gets stabilized. Dave still has a block, but he may need to just press it. Triple stun. DJ Alex bubbles for the kill. They secure the counterspell. Dave sneaks in a counterspell. Any Magic Zone, though, denies the kill. They're trying to push through despite it, but they can't force it. Blessing of Protection and Ice Block overlap, but DJ Alex has Avenging Wrath up. If he gets any heals with this, it's going to be massive. They could just totally recover. Grapple weapon could be game winning. Joel can't use Death Strike for 2 more seconds. He's on the run, back to the pillar, letting Fuston carry the team. Fuston being polymorphed away by Yes Dave, trying to buy time for DJ Alex to recover. This is going to be the final push. I'm just not sure who's going to take it.
It's match point. Matic, he's getting low. DJ Alex, what is he going to do? The ultimate sacrifice comes in. It's Joel on the back foot. Lontar throws in the Iron Bark. Is that going to be enough healing? Yes, they're making his final push with the Frozen Orb. Joel just trying to hold on with everything. Icebound Fortitude, Anti-Magic Shell. Joel still hovering around 30% health, but it's Matic who could easily fall in this situation. He's got Karma coming up in 8 seconds. Joel still getting low. Anyone could fall at any moment.
3,
Who
2,
is going to take this
1.
match? Penguins, they're on match point if they win this.
Joel
Going to be advancing. Joel, polymorph now on Lontar. Nicely done by Yes Dave. I don't know how Joel could possibly survive this. Leg sweep with the touch of Karma, and Joel does fall.
Wait. Fuston?
Yeah, it could be a cross kill, but it's looking unlikely at this point. Somehow DJ Alex actually recovered mana in that situation. 43% dampening was all that it took for them to take down Joel in that match.
The ever-rising
points by 60, but if they were to lose this, you know, they'd only get 20 points today, and that kind of 5-way almost tie that we see in Europe just below them would catch up. It would blow all of those positions wide into the open. So Zizon definitely need a victory here, but nLite, they have the momentum from last week.
Maybe the prop paladin was a bait by Zizon to perhaps get nLite to lock in a peculiar composition, but nLite go for the standard comp that won them the series last week against Zizon. Zizon, though, are mixing it up, not running that Destruction Warlock. I think that was a wise decision on their part, but since the Restoration Druid nerf trainers opted for the Mistweaver, no Way of the Crane from him, not really an aggressive Mistweaver build, much more of a fatiguing late game play there on his part, but with Retribution Paladin bringing in the Blessing of Wisdom, I think Tana with that Chain Heal build is likely to be able to extend this match for some time. Very interesting to see these teams going head-to-head now that Restoration Druid has sort of fallen out of the meta, at least for the teams that don't have Rogue Mage. I feel like the teams that have Rogue Mage, we're still going to see a lot of Druid from them, that being Diabolus and Method Orange and Change My Mind, or Method Black, sorry, and Change My Mind. I feel like those 3 teams, we're still going to see a bit of Druids, but for the Cleaves and the other compositions, Paladin, Shaman, and Mistweaver are all a lot more prevalent.
You know, this is what we wanted to see from Zizon last week. Instead of that Destruction Warlock, who's not very mobile and kind of susceptible to just getting dampened by the Retribution Paladin Arms Warrior, you have Jamie on the Elemental Shaman. He's going to fare a lot better, going to be able to kite around in Ghost Wolf, use the Thunderstorm to free himself from Kara, and be able to actually create some distance in this matchup. There's been good pressure for both teams so far. Leg sweep comes in from Drainer on Kara, on Zuniaki, and that's going to be Blessing of Sanctuary by Kara to free himself from that. And right now, nLite completely stabilized. Actually, both teams stabilized. I think this could be one of those matchups that end up coming down to mana. And like you kind of alluded to, Sid, Kara with the Blessing of Wisdom is going to give Tana a little bit of an advantage in that regard.
We have to wait and see. Drainer opting to trade Life Cocoon at this moment. No cooldowns really for it, so that's one out of the way for nLite. Potentially an opening here as Avenging Wrath and Avatar are going to be available for Zuniaki and Kara. Zuniaki repping that Discipline Priest, the only one to win with a cup on it. Now also flexing, playing the damage dealing role on that Warrior as well. Last time we saw Zuniaki playing Warrior was at BlizzCon against you, I believe, Venruki. So these guys have been playing together for some time. It's certainly quite an accomplishment on Zuniaki's part. Still going strong, still multi-classing, multi-rolling, not having a Restoration Druid whatsoever on their team and somehow making it work, taking the last cup and looking to try and stay alive in this one. So far looking solid for them. Mana lead, momentum lead, cooldown lead.
Actually, Zuniaki played the Restoration Shaman against me. It was Kara.
Oh, it was Kara.
Yeah, so
people flip-flop
a little bit of history for you there, Mr. Sid. Kara gets knocked away with that Thunderstorm. He's been taking a little bit of burst in this damage. The Stormbolt comes in from Nerd Rage. They're looking to get some pressure rolling. Tana responds with the Ascendance, managing to find some heals onto Kara. Drainer now with the Life Cocoon is going to be keeping Nerd Rage alive for now. Both Warriors going to be having that disarm, so in moments where team is scary or is scared and on the back foot, they can choose to use that disarm to basically make it so someone can't deal melee damage anymore. And that's what we're going to be looking to see from these warriors as one of the main parts of the defensive toolkit. Zuniaki and Kara actually had a surprising amount of uptime on Jamie. I really thought that the Elemental Shaman would be able to kite a lot more effectively, but I guess with the Unbound Freedom, this is something that sort of swings the tide potentially in the Ret and Warriors' favor.
Could possibly be here with that honor talent change for Retribution Paladins. We're seeing a lot more of them, certainly in the competition, at least Kara succeeding on it. I'm wondering if we see any Retribution Paladins from the other teams as well, if nLite continue to have the success that they currently do. Tana caught in an intimidating shout, but it looks like he's actually the target for Nerd Rage. So he's going to be trying to go after the healer, but Kara is going to protect him. Nerd Rage is going to leap back, support Jamie, disarming Zuniaki, preventing him from connecting with that avatar. Well-timed disarm there on Nerd Rage's part. That's going to allow Jamie more than enough time to escape. Both teams fairly stable now at this period in the fight, roughly 30 seconds away from dampening, and that's really going to be the name of the game, is who is favored in dampening? Is it the Restoration Shaman? Is it the Mistweaver? Right now, you would normally expect the Mistweaver's mana to be better, but the Retribution Paladin shores up that weakness with Blessing of Wisdom. So as far as mana is concerned, it actually looks like it's more favorable to Tana. Then it comes through how much throughput can the healers put out? Can a Shaman out-heal a Mistweaver? That I'm not sold on. I think the Mistweaver's healing is quite potent, especially single targets. So this could be a weakness for Tana. Can he deal with it is the question. We're still a couple minutes away. This is a matchup that we've yet to see this year, so it's difficult to anticipate who is actually going to get ahead with all of the changes. Patch 8.2 with the new essences. This is anyone's match here as dampening begins.
Yeah, and the thing is, if Tana can hold on to enough mana, that's when they can do sort of an all-in strategy a little bit later on. With the Restoration Shaman Purge, it's really effective against the Mistweaver Monk. You get off the Renewing Mist and the Enveloping Mist. It's a lot of the healing potential that Draenor does have available. So, if Draenor falls behind, and that's when Tana gets aggressive with Purges and with Wind Shears onto Draenor, that's when things can start snowballing out of control for Zizon. So, they have to hold on. A nice Hex secured here by Jamie onto Tana. Keep in mind, when Tana gets Hexed, there's no Curse Dispel from Kara or Zuniaki, so he sits all of that crowd control full. Hex into a full Intimidating Shout. Draenor there with a Paralysis as well. Good pressure. They managed to force out the Safeguard, but I can't help but feel like Tana's going to be able to easily recover from the situation if he can land a Chain Heal. Are we going to be able to see it? Actually goes for the Healing Wave. Tops off Zuniaki. And now it's going to be Nerd Rage on the back foot.
Yeah, Nerd Rage in a lot of trouble here. What cooldowns are they going to trade? They're trying to hold on to them using Disarm and Crowd Control to stall the damage long enough for Draenor to stabilize. They don't want to be using that Dive of the Sword until they absolutely have to. It's a 3-minute cooldown. Not likely to see it again in this fight. Jamie getting swapped too as nLite see Life Cocoon active on Nerd Rage. They're going to hit a more vulnerable target. That banks them 2 cooldowns for 1 push, with Astral Shift gone from Jamie and Life Cocoon gone from Draenor. Perfect swap by nLite. They continue the momentum by stunning Draenor and disarming Nerd Rage, isolating Jamie. Kara with Avenging Wrath active, going to be dealing a lot of damage towards Jamie. Draenor rolls in, stuns Kara away, but Jamie line of sighting Draenor. He's going to have to Transcendence next to him. Jamie on the run, start to finish. After those recent nerfs to Pack Spirit, I'm not sure if Jamie will be able to recover through this deeper into dampening. The mana lead is established, and the one thing that the Restoration Shaman brings is Purge as well. If Tana maintains high amounts of mana and they can remove the Renewing Mists, remove the Enveloping Mists, it could be game over. Zizon need to do something quick. Fortunately, they've got a good crowd control chain going right now. They could get a Divine Shield. They do manage to get Spirit Link Totem, at least from Tana. A big cooldown out of the way. Tana getting aggressive, going for an Ore Master. Spirit Walker's Grace Hex is not going to be dispellable for the team. No D-Curse. Triple crowd control. Good counter aggression from nLite as they bounce off the push of Zizon.
Yep. Kara and Zuniaki, they're going to be turning their attention over onto Jamie. If they can get Jamie and Nerd Rage clumped up, that's when they can start getting a lot of cleave damage. Tana traded out his Trinket as well as his Spirit Link Totem to allow Kara to hold on to that Divine Shield. So Kara still has that major defense, and he will be the main target for Zizon moving forward. Decent damage on Zuniaki as well. He has to be careful he doesn't overextend, but I think in general it's going to be Kara that they decide to go after in this matchup. 20% dampening. Draenor, 20% mana. Tana doing way better in that regard. The Blessing of Wisdom really paying dividends here in this matchup for Tana to allow him to keep his mana nice and high. And I feel like that's what this matchup really could come down to. Once Drainer's out of mana, it's going to be difficult for him to deal with the damage coming in from the Retribution Paladin and the Arms Warrior. There's just so much consistent damage in the match. With the Mortal Wounds effect from the Arms Warrior Mortal Strike, Zuniaki is going to be able to reduce healing even further. Then it becomes a nightmare for the Mistweaver Monk to really deal with.
All right, Astral Shift traded by Jamie
drink.
out of the way. Drainer holds his team in the fight by regenerating a lot of mana at critical mass of dampening. Wind Shear onto Drainer, stun onto Nerd Rage. Jamie still the target, but Ring of Peace protecting them, well positioned by Drainer. That lines up Jamie to get a Stormkeeper. His lightning bolts are going to be huge for the next 2 casts. Who is he going to go after with them? He's trying to go after Kara, but not even really scratching the surface there. Intimidating Shout onto 2 members. Jamie has to use his Dyer's Medallion to Tremor Drainer out of crowd control. Nerd Rage looks to respond with an Intimidating Shout of his own, but not really getting too much. Hex from Jamie could be game-breaking with the Lightning Lasso on Zuniaki, but not enough damage, unfortunately. Perfect crowd control by Zizon, but not enough damage. It's Jamie and Nerd Rage now on the back foot as Drainer has basically burned the mana that he drank seconds after the fact. This is not good for Zizon.
Definitely not good. I mean, Drainer is just burning through his mana so quickly in the match. Jamie's really struggling to get away. Ring of Peace comes in from Drainer. Really good backup to allow Jamie to create some space. Now Nerd Rage taking some pressure. There's just so much consistent damage coming in. I feel like that Avenging Wrath from Kara is going to end the game in the next... I mean, if they don't win at this point, when that finally does come up, Drainer's going to be out of mana, and I think it's just going to be way too much damage for them to deal with. But Zuniaki also getting targeted down. They have to be careful. Tana doesn't really have too much healing. Kara, he has the Blessing of Protection. Is he going to trade it out? They basically barely hold on. Zuniaki stabilizes, and now it's Nerd Rage that's in trouble, Sid.
This is back and forth between Zizon and nLite, an evenly fought battle so far. Deep into dampening. Jerry comes out of the stun, needs to connect some heals ASAP. Nerd Rage is still low, but there's no crowd control. They should recover. nLite switch targets instead, going after Jamie, trying to expend even further mana from Drainer. Drainer moves in, looking like he wanted to go for a leg sweep. He's going to Ring of Peace Kara away. Paralysis the Shaman. Zuniaki still the target. Zuniaki anticipating an attack here as he pushes forward, activating Die by the Sword. This is so that he can prematurely avoid being disarmed. This is going to be a strategy that both warriors implement against each other. While disarmed, they can't activate their most offensive cooldown, the Die by the Sword. So Zuniaki was anticipating that move from Nerd Rage, but now that it's out of the way, he's not going to have it at all. They use the disarm onto Nerd Rage, but they're still targeting Jamie. Bit unusual there. Grapple weapon selected from Drainer as well, so it could be an extended disarm chain on the side of Zizon for victory, but they need to recover, but they have no mana and they've got no cooldowns to do it. If Kara connects, Jamie's going to go down.
Yeah, here's the Avenging Wrath. This is what I was talking about. It's just too much damage. Jamie trinkets. He's trying to cross the map as fast as he can in. Ghost Wolf does manage to do so, but now Nerd Rage, he's been left all alone. Jamie casts out the Stormkeeper. Is it too late? Too little, too late. Do they have the damage? Zuniaki getting a little bit low, but Drainer, he's just struggling to heal through this damage. Avenging Wrath paying dividends for nLite. Jamie getting low. Nerd Rage as well. Life Cocoon trades out. That's the last defense Drainer has for his team. If Nerd Rage falls, that's going to be the first point for nLite, and it is nicely done with the...
What was happening against the WLD, which is why I was so surprised he's locked this in, that the Destro would just die in the late game, even with the Elemental to assist him. But then the Thunder Cleave was meant to be the answer. It wasn't the answer. Now the Warlock's back in the map, and I think there's a good chance that nLite's just going to run away with this if this is really the best that Zizon have to offer.
I mean, so at least try it. How many times have they lost with WLD? I mean, maybe they lose as the Elemental Shaman Destruction Warlock, but I think it's better to at least try the composition out, but we'll see how this one goes. Like we kind of said, with the changes last week, this matchup should be even more in favor of nLite. How is Mercy going to be able to hold on? Drainer, of course, 10% reduction in his healing since last week as well. He's going to have to go for drinks a lot more in this matchup. Mercy already getting low. Zuniaki, Kara, they're trying to reconnect. There's just so much damage for nLite. The Retribution Paladin and the Arms Warriors just shred the Destruction Warlock up.
Yeah, I do not like this pick at all from Zizon. They're going to, I think, need to bring something here for game number 3. I'm so confident in nLite's capability to win this that I'm calling it only a minute into the game. I don't think they can win on mana anymore. The Blessing of Wisdom going to support Tana. His Chain Heal build makes it so if they're not able to interrupt or crowd control him, he's going to be able to heal through this damage so easily. Meanwhile, Drainer has to heal 2 targets, the Warrior and the Warlock, because they're standing close to each other on top of a Rep Paladin and an Arms Warrior, so it's going to be a bit of a cleave fiesta on both sides, but the Chain Heal is going to do a lot better at healing through that. And Tana has somehow managed to force his Restoration Shaman into the meta. I mean, there's healers that have decided that Shaman is not at all viable, but with this composition in particular, with the matchups that nLite take it into, it's quite formidable, and this is one of them.
I mean, to sort of put it in perspective, after seeing nLite play this composition last week, I asked Vanguards, I was like, hey man, you want to play some Windwalker Retribution Paladin? He's
I'm
like,
down
yeah.
to heal that, by the way.
He's like, I'm down, I just need a Restoration Shaman. I mean, if you're going to play with us, that's great.
Vanguards is playing with me after.
But I asked Cedar to heal us, and he's like, what healer do you want? I was like, Shaman. Yeah, Vanguard says Shaman's really good. He's like, I'm not playing that. So, I mean, that's how far gone a lot of these Shamans are, and Tan is still holding it down, making it work. A little bit of damage here on Nikera as Zizon has managed to stabilize in the matchup, but look at Drainer's mana. He's already down to 60%. There is decent damage here on Kara, but this is the Avenging Wrath. This is when things get really scary in the matchup. Mercy, he's going to have to hold on tight.
All right, let's see what he can get done here. His healers in crowd control, they could crush through the Unending Resolve. Mercy's just getting absolutely smashed. Perfect crowd control by Tana as well. Mercy on the run, on the ropes with 1 second left. Drainer into a Stormbolt. Perfect crowd control chain by nLite.
Good night.
Outright crushing Zizon in game number 2. Please do not. I'm wondering if the Druid change is going to be enough here for Zizon. They've got a good map to get drinks. That's certainly going to be a necessity for Zizon if they want to have mana moving deeper into dampening. I'm wondering what is real trade-off with the Druid. Maybe Drainer running the Feral Affinity. They bring in Thorns. Thorns very effective against the Retribution Paladin and the Arms Warrior. Not with that much self-healing. You're going to take a lot of reflective damage. But nLite feel confident in game 3. They're on match point. They're targeting the healer Drainer. They're getting a lot more spicy. Trying to mix it up here. Pressure onto 2 targets. This is looking dangerous for Zizon. Gladiator Safeguard going to proc for Drainer. Nerd Rage was still low on health. Drainer has to recover 2 members of the team here simultaneously. Jumping to Jamie, wrapping around the corner and catching some regrowths, but Nerd Rage was still taking a beating amidst all of that. Drainer anticipates the stun, but it may not even be enough. Big push here by nLite.
Yeah, Drainer, if he gets caught in the stun, it could be over. His Barkskin Iron Bark already traded out. He's still low. He's dancing circles around the map right now. Nicely done. Good kiting by Drainer in order to stay alive. That was a really scary situation. You can tell Drainer, he's putting the work on that Restoration Druid to stay alive. Now, Jamie, Nerd Rage getting attacked. Kara, of course, every time he has the wings up, the Avenging Wrath, that's when he's going to be able to get really aggressive, put out massive damage. Full Fear onto Tana. Finally, the Blessing of Sanctuary is going to be coming in from Kara to free him from that crowd control. And there is just such good synergy in this composition that nLite has brought. Just overall really durable, high damage. And I'm impressed that they managed to come up with it and they're making it work so well. Drainer now, once again, caught into a Hammer of Justice. He cuts across the map to the safety of Jamie, who's going to be backing him up. And now Zizon is completely stabilized, and this is where we've seen a little bit of pressure finally coming in from Zizon. nLite's getting low. This is going to be the Ascendants coming in from Tana. That was his Trinket as well as his Ascendants to empower his heals. He does manage to top his team off, but there was a bit of a cost.
May not have been necessary. The Shield of Vengeance and the Gladiator Safeguard was almost a second health bar for Kara in terms of Absorb. I actually am not the biggest fan of that Gladiator's Medallion of Tana. Now those Absorbs aren't going to be available if that crowd control chain is secured again. With an interrupt on Tana, it's putting him slightly behind, but it doesn't look like they have any follow-up crowd control. Stormbolt, but Blessing of Sanctuary from Kara removes that. Drainer standing on top of Tana. Curious what type of harassment he's looking for. Is it going to be some Cyclones? I think it's unlikely that Drainer's even running that talent. It's going to cost him too much mana. Drainer now in a Stormbolt. His team could be in trouble. What on earth was that hit? Jamie down at 10%, barely staying alive with Astral Shift about to fade, but manages to bounce back thanks to Drainer.
Yep, Zuniaki changing targets. Jamie was able to kite away, and that's the main strength of the Elemental Shaman compared to the Destruction Warlock. It just doesn't seem like the Destruction Warlock has enough durability and survivability to survive the Retribution Paladin and the Warrior. Tana getting swapped to. Good pressure coming in. Blessing of Protection trades out. Really nicely done there by Nerd Rage. Basically solo pressuring Tana down in that situation, forcing out the Blessing of Protection, now landing a Full Fear with the Intimidating Shout. And finally, Zizon starting to develop a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, I think switching to the Shaman is definitely something they should be trying a bit more here. They're going to need a composition, though, that beats Ret Warrior and the Jungle Cleave. Maybe the Restoration Druid Elemental Shaman Arms where he gets overwhelmed by Jungle. That is potentially on the table here as nLite have 2 more games to go through, even if they do lose this. But right now, I'd say that they're in a pretty solid position. The mana advantage is established. Drainer doesn't even seem to care about that, being so far behind on mana. He's actually just attacking Tana instead of trying to look for drinks. Zuniaki looks to connect onto Jamie. The lightning lasso is disrupted almost immediately there. It's unfortunate. Jamie's going to lose out on a pretty big stun. Tana gets swapped to again by Nerd Rage and Drainer. They've been 2 versus 1ing him, trying to take him out on their own while Jamie runs laps around the arena, trying to kite Car and Zuniaki into bad positions. It has been decent, but I think at some point Jamie needs to support as well for these attacks onto Tana to work and net a kill. Finally, Jamie on top of Tana. Big lightning bolts. Nerd Rage is tunneling through with the storm bolts. No Blessing of Sanctuary. Car is disarmed. He can't counter pressure. They're going to get some uptime. Tana now with Drainer attacking him as well. He is trying to avoid Jamie as much as possible with this box with the well on top.
Whoa.
Earth Shock connects. He needs to fake cast the pummel of Nerd Rage, but he's not getting through it. Now a Windsure as well. He goes for the Spirit Walker's Grace, connects a heal. That stun from Drainer 1 second too late. Now putting Tana on full diminishing return for stuns. It's likely going to allow him to survive much more easily. Drainer now almost completely out of mana, 20 seconds away from dampening.
Yeah, Nerd Rage getting low. Windsure on Drainer. Could he fall? He's disarmed. He can't use his Die by the Sword just yet, but he does manage to hold on. Good off heals coming in from Jamie. Drainer completely tapped on mana at this point. He's only got 10% mana left, Sid. He has to try to sneak away for a drink. He's already committed the Iron Bark. Nerd Rage getting low. Drainer trying to deflect the attack with Thorns, but Nerd Rage he just can't get healed up. Die by the Sword. And he gets sniped. nLite is just on fire.
But they're back. Maro's on his Mage, Looney's on his Restoration Druid, but Minpoike and Fried Kitty have been doing such a good job holding down that Restoration Druid Frost Mage all year long. Wildcard Gaming, they'll really need to find something here. Blizzo on his main Arms Warrior coming in hot in that Grand Arena.
A matchup we haven't seen in a very long time. I feel like Missa Pandaria might have been the last time that we really saw Warrior Mage Druid head-to-head with Rogue Mage Druid. These 2 teams focusing heavily on Restoration Druid, so it's not surprising to see them start the blind pick with their best foot forward. Looney already trinketing out of blind. That's a crowd control that Wildcard Gaming don't have on their side to get Minpoike's Better's Medallion. Instead, they'll have to use Intimidating Shout, maybe Stormbolt Polymorphs. Is that something we should look to anticipate, or is Stormbolt going to be used onto the kill target, the Mage? It depends on what their playstyle is. Is Wildcard Gaming going to focus on just avoiding crowd control and disrupting the fight, or are they going to try and look for crowd control of their own and make big coordinated pushes? So far, 1 counterspell Minpoike could net them an Ice Block. Big damage onto Fried Kitty. Blizzo leaping in. They actually switch targets to Looney, catching him off the back of the interrupt there, trying to really pressure him down as well. Barkskin is now faded. Change my mind, go for an all-in.
This seems like the standard play for Rogue Mage. Go after the healer. Have your Frost Mage control. Looney, can he hold on? He's used the Barkskin, Trinket, Iron Bark. It's just not enough. He falls so early on in the game. A huge... Yeah, I mean, so far, so good for them. We'll have to see what Wildcard Gaming can do in this series to bounce back. I think it's interesting, Blizzo, of course, on the Arms Warrior. In the past, Arms Warriors were really susceptible to roots, the Nova, the Frost Nova, but now, surprisingly, they have a lot of tools to deal with it. The Avatar gets them out of roots. Of course, they have the Blade Storm as well, as Blizzo's playing the Gnome. So he has a lot of abilities that he can get out of roots with, and he can maintain a little bit of uptime on Fried Kitty in this matchup, and that might be one of the most crucial things for their roster. They're probably just going to be going after Fried Kitty. That is their main objective. The problem is you have Acro going on tomorrow, and he's got Kidney Shot, and Kidney Shot is very effective at shutting down casters. Right now, this setup from Change My Mind could net in an Ice Block. Yeah, this is the blind sap. This is what Looney can't afford to use his Better's Medallion on unless Vendetta has been used. So instead, Morrow just has to kite like a MVP and really hold on to cooldowns for the team while Looney sits through that crowd control, and he did manage to stall. Change My Mind are going to switch targets anyway. They don't seem to care. Looney's going to trade Barkskin. It needs to be enough, but I don't think it's going to be. Gladiator Safeguard gets stripped off by the Kleptomania. Looney's totally exposed. Did he change to the Guardian affinity? Now becomes the next question. Acro looks like he's given up the chase. He's going to be going back on tomorrow. Looney recovers through that attack. Decent swaps from Change My Mind, really putting Looney to the test, but this time around, big mistake there by Acro. Shadow Step Kidney Shot on diminishing return still. Looney's going to have an easy time recovering now. That's a disaster, and that really is a rookie mistake coming in from Acro. Luna's going to be able to easily walk away with that, and that would have been a nightmare situation. I mean, you had no bark skin that could have easily been the trinket, but unfortunately for Change My Mind, Luna's going to be able to stay alive and not really have to use anything in that situation, which otherwise could have been really scary. Luna now taking a little bit of damage. Fried Kitty trying to get control of the game, but Blizzo's just having so much uptime in this matchup. I'm curious to see. I think Blizzo's actually doing the most damage in the arena right now. You can see that with the details add-on, and Blizzo's doing just a really good job with this uptime, but unfortunately, Fried Kitty's been kind of able to deal with it. We'll have to see. Do you think this is a matchup that could come down to mana?
I mean, possibly. I'm wondering how the new essences, since they're nerf, are going to respond deeper in dampening. Big push onto Fried Kitty, and Poike there to back him up. Change My Mind is going to be maybe a little bit lackluster in terms of damage in between those big cooldown windows. As I say that, Looney's disrespecting this push, not making any trades.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Manages to at least escape around the corner. Looney is one of those healers that you can almost always count on correct cooldown management, but now that Druids have been nerfed, perhaps he needs to recalculate those situations and figure out exactly when and where he can get away with not using cooldowns, as he's currently stunned up by Acro. Fried Kitty blinks in the line of sight. They stun him, catching him out of form. Looney thought he could come to safety, but Acro commits his Vanish to go for an all-out assault. Somehow Looney still dealing with it. Minpoke looking to Cyclone. I was wondering if that was Looney at low health. Looney just under so much pressure, even on Ashamane's Fall, the biggest map, even with Morrow and Blizzo supporting him, is certainly struggling. If he even makes one mistake, Change My Mind are going to bring this to match point.
Yeah, bash on Acro allows Looney enough uptime to escape. Now Fried Kitty still under pressure. Morrow looking to get the pressure, rolling. Fried Kitty getting low. Temporal Shield bounces his health back up, but that was Temporal Shield, as well as the Iron Bark. One thing I'm noticing Change My Mind doing consistently in the matchup is every time they get a kidney shot, they use the Gladiator's Maledict trinket. A lot of players have opted not to use that trinket since it was changed. It does more of a damage over time effect and healing reduction over time. So basically, it used to work where it had a delayed cast, and then it would do a big chunk of damage as well as big healing reduction. Now, it instantaneously goes off, and over time does damage and reduces healing. And that's going to be really effective against the Restoration Druid. In a situation where he gets caught into a kidney shot, he can't dispel it, kind of negates all of those healing over time effects and allows Change My Mind to develop pressure.
Good crowd control here by Wildcard Gaming. They've got Minpoke and a Polymorph right when they wanted to switch to Looney, so perhaps costing them an ice block for this push. They get the Gladiator Safeguard. Do they have a Kleptomania to remove it? Doesn't look like it. Iron Bark and Safeguard going to be a huge defense here for Change My Mind to recover. Unlikely that Fried Kitty needs to use his ice block, and as you were saying earlier, this is looking to be like a matchup that could come down to mana if Looney keeps preempting these swaps. Both teams so durable. It seems quite difficult for the Mages to be killed off as well. Looney, I would say, is the most vulnerable member of the 6 in this game. It's going to be a lot more difficult for Blizzo to stay on the Druid. His stun is a shorter duration, a little bit less consistent pressure than that of the Assassination Rogue, so the swap potential of Wildcard Gaming is much lower. Perhaps they should be targeting Acro at some point, especially when Looney is the main target. Usually if you're attacking the melee that's on your healer, that's definitely the best, but Gladiator's Maledict has a lot of time to ramp up. Looney's going to dispel its healing absorption, try and line of sight around the corner, catch a big Soul Forest heal, goes for a Cyclone, but Minpoke actually re-stealths it to dodge it. Fried Kitty blinks away, but Blizzo in hot pursuit. Gets polymorphed out of line of sight. Looney's not going to risk dispelling that. Temporal Shield from Morrow, anticipating a swap, which is currently engaged by Change My Mind, but then Morrow gets Cycloned on his Temporal Shield, so he's not going to get any benefit of that, and it just feels like Change My Mind have full control of this. The only thing that maybe Wildcard Gaming have in their favor is their Arms Warrior pressure. Other than that, it's looking so one-sided for Change My Mind. Morrow has to block, incredibly low on health, 30 seconds into dampening.
Yep, Morrow has one ice block left. Fried Kitty still has both of his available in the match, but there's always the potential at any time Change My Mind can just make a big one-shot attempt on Looney. Looney's been doing a really good job dealing with the pressure so far, but anything can happen with a Rogue Mage. Have to see. Acro now going after Morrow. Looks like they want to continue the Mage race. Fried Kitty getting interrupted. This could be his first ice block, but he was pummeled on Frost. A bit of a scary situation. Minpoke deals with it quite nicely with the Iron Bark, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Safeguard comes in. Fried Kitty does manage to hold on. Minpoke finally tops him off. He's going to be completely fine. We're at 8% dampening. What is the mana situation looking like right now? We have Minpoke around 38, 40% mana. Looney at around 50% mana. So there is a slight lead for Wildcard Gaming in that regard. And if they can hold on, maybe the consistent damage coming in from that Arms Warrior will be what puts them ahead.
We'll have to wait and see. Warbreaker activated. Blizzo really wants to try and get some pressure out, but he's polymorphed, not able to connect. Uses Spell Reflect aggressively to stay on target with his cooldowns. Now won't have that defensively. It's not typical. We see Blizzo playing aggressive like that. Perhaps he gets punished. Morrow's still under fire, interrupted on Frost for a couple of seconds, relying on the Temporal Shield to absorb the damage during that critical moment. Minpoike in an intimidating shot. Blizzo's using most of his utility aggressively. Seems like he's had enough of this now that dampening's in the game. Wildcard Gaming have switched their strategy. Their allocation of crowd control is much more aggressive. This seems to be the wise move before dampening. Fried Kitty currently taking control of Blizzo, and now tag teamed with Minpoike. You're a warrior against a Frost Mage Druid. Not going to be the greatest times. Just a plethora of crowd control between those two classes. Morrow stunned up. Acro sets up for a polymorph. Fried Kitty looks to get follow-up, but Blizzo shuts him down. Beautiful shutdown by Blizzo. Still, even with breaking out the crowd control, Morrow is low on health.
Yeah, Morrow taking a lot of damage. Acro looking to take him down. He does connect. That was a really nice Cyclone on the Gladiator Safeguard. Nicely done there by Minpoike. Can he follow it up? Temporal Shield trades out with the Ice Barrier, but they're just killing him through it. Morrow, he has to hold on. Temporal Shield bounces him up just a little bit. Fried Kitty spamming out the damage. Kidney shot. Morrow trinkets out. Looney's in a bash. This could be the second ice block. Can they get it? Acro's into Polymorph. Finally reconnects with Shadow Step. Morrow's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Frozen Orb drops out for Fried Kitty. Morrow just on the back foot. The consistent damage and control of the Assassination Rogue just so beautiful in this matchup. Acro showcasing it quite nicely.
Yep, definitely. Beautiful crowd control from Change My Mind.
Oh, that's
solid late game strategy implemented. They've got the early game, they've got the late game, they've got the crowd control, they've got the denial. Change My Mind's Rogue Mage is looking solid here in the tournament. I'd love to see them go up against Diabolus' Rogue Mage as well as Method Black's later on in the tournament. Certainly going to be the best Restoration Druid comp after the recent reductions. Still prevalent. Cyclone on the Temporal Shield, rotated back over. Full kidney shot afterwards. Another one. Minpoike moves in, secures the bash. Minpoike crowd controlling the whole team right now, single-handedly carrying the team, setting them up for victory towards the final seconds of this match. There's nothing left to recover. Morrow will get taken out, and I don't think the Warrior Mage Druid is going to work.
I mean, Linear Trigger then obviously doesn't want to trade out before the blind, but it seems kind of hopeless, right? Like, Change My Mind are just so good on this Rogue Mage Druid.
You know, those big flashy plays like that will win you the game a lot less, but they will just be more consistent. They won't get deleted as much, so it depends on, you know, what's your cup of tea there.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly a big fan of Minpoike's playstyle, and when we guys play on the desk, it's normally a case of like, wow, those close cyclones work amazing healing stat, but also, can I grab a heal or two? Because I have any ops right now. So we'll have to see how this does play out. Wildcard Gaming locking in the TSG, one of their main compositions. You'd love to see it. They're facing going down to the lower bracket if they lose this game.
I think it's enough about Minpoike here. Wildcard Gaming are fishing for comps and strats to take out Rogue Mage Druid. If they can figure out just one that works, they could have a good run through the tournament, but if they can't figure out one in time, they're going to be knocked out. That's going to be terrible. So many teams tied with them, so many teams on their heels looking to pass them. The competition in the summer season is much higher. Here on Hook Point, Wildcard Gaming select an aggressive map, and Change My Mind look to try and take that advantage in their own favor by attacking Looney, the healer for Wildcard Gaming. It's going to be quite a fast-paced game. I anticipate if Change My Mind keep this strategy going much longer.
Yeah, Fried Kitty taking quite a bit of damage. I think on the smaller map on Hook Point, this could be a good situation for Wildcard Gaming. They have a lot of pressure. Fried Kitty gets interrupted. There's going to be no Temporal Shield. Minpoike lands a huge heal, keeping Fried Kitty alive. Acro has to come back. He's trying to make... This is something we see from Rogue Mage Druid so often. The Assassination Rogue, he sits on the healer. The Frost Mage and the rest of the just try to live as long as possible. But they might have to turn their attention to Blizzo. Fried Kitty's, he's just under fire this game. Zeepot and Blizzo putting out massive damage. Looney with a preemptive life cocoon keeps him alive in that kidney shot, but he doesn't have that safety net moving forward. Still a really good heads-up play.
Big damage here on Looney. Vendetta popped for Acro. He's going to Cloak of Shadows to stay on target, getting out of the snare. Looking to interrupt the heals. Acro has kick available. Looney needs to be careful. Going to be able to freely cast there and avoid that kick. Definitely a good timing on Looney's part. Change My Mind instead, switch strategies. Blinding Looney and going after the Warrior. They get Looney's Gladiator's Medallion with that blind. Now they set up for switching back to him. Acro wants to, but Chains of Ice is making it a bit predictable as Acro has been waddling back and forth. It becomes very obvious when the Rogue is moving to the target as to who he wants to attack and what he has got on his mind. Smokebomb gets dropped. Big play on the Blizzo. Where's the Gladiator's Medallion from him? Bit surprising to not see it on the Smokebomb. Ring of Peace going to knock him away. The Azurite trait from Blizzo when he activates Avatar also gives him a bit of an absorb, so it was great timing on Blizzo's part there, able to make himself a bit more defendable for Looney to comfortably sit through that smoke bomb. Now Wildcard Gaming, this is what I wanted to see. What happens when you attack the Druids? Because it seemed like Lontar had a really difficult time surviving, and Looney as well when he was the target. I think Wildcard Gaming certainly should be experimenting with switching to Minpoike, especially with Zico's analysis as well. Minpoike known for getting deleted. This seems like the obvious choice for them overall.
Yeah, Fried Kitty trying to get out some consistent damage in the match right now. Have to see what he can really get done. His Water Elemental gets killed off once again as he blinks on top of Looney, gets Death Gripped away, and that's one of the real problems for the Frost Mage or the Mage in general in this matchup is with the Death Knight on you, if you don't save your mobility, you might not be able to get there, but that might not be a problem. Looney Safeguard procs. Life Cocoon trades out also. Big damage coming in from Change My Mind. Can they just shred through it? That would be a bit of a miracle. Looney does manage to stay alive, but now no Trinket, no Life Cocoon, and Acro still all over him in this matchup.
I really want to see them switch targets more frequently, run the Vision of Perfection on the Warrior, get more Blade Storms, more mobility, get out of the crowd control, and just go after the healer. This strategy, it just seems to me that mages are probably one of the most difficult classes in the game to take down right now. They're spending so much time. Looney in trouble, Portaling on sub 1% health, recovering desperately around the corner. Acro unable to connect. Fried Kitty can't finish him off. That was a miracle for Looney to still be alive in that moment in time. And yet Wildcard Gaming continues the strategy of attacking the Mage. It just seems like it's not the winning strategy. I mean, it feels like Fried Kitty is basically taking no damage. Blizzo down at half health now has changed my mind, switch targets, putting Looney in an awkward position where he needs to heal 2 members of the team. If he gets caught in a stun, he could be in trouble. Then blind later on if he trinkets. Finally, damage onto Fried Kitty, but that ice barrier absorbing a huge amount while Minpoike looks to pick him up. Running that Nourish build is going to be super effective of healing the Mage. The Nourish also tells me that they should be attacking Minpoike. I mean, that's a heal that you can't use when you're the target, as Honor Talent effectively becomes pointless in that position. I really think Wildcard Gaming need to switch targets more frequently.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Fried Kitty is struggling to get out damage. I've actually watched his Water Elemental, and it hasn't attacked once in 2.5 minutes, so definitely not the best utilization of his pet there. It is good, consistent damage in the matchup. Gonna have to look for that a little bit closer in the game. Blizzo now, Blade Storming on top of Fried Kitty, getting a little bit of damage rolling. Acro, what is he going to do? Blizzo's a little bit of a good target right now. Looney, of course, still has his Trinket. I think Blind is available for Acro. There it is. What is Looney going to do? Is he going to Trinket out of the blind? Are we going to be able to see that? It looks like he's going to kind of greedily sit the entire thing. There's a Polymorph, and now, as a result, Blizzo has to trade out the Die by the Sword. He's going to be able to survive, but we'll have to see what Looney trades out to keep him alive. That was a big defensive cooldown. They managed to get out from Blizzo, but at the end of the day, Looney holding on to his Trinket is really important.
The thing is, Hook Point, I think, was selected so that Minpoike couldn't drink, but mana's even. So I don't think it's really even working out for them too well. Blizzo doesn't have any defensive cooldowns. He's definitely a weak point. They're going after Acro. Finally, some target switching from Wildcard Gaming. I think if they switch between the Rogue and the Druid, that's definitely an effective strategy. I see you guys following Fried Kitty closely as you're both mages on the desks, probably pondering why he's not using the Water Elemental, as it would be a significant percentage of his damage. Water Elemental actually going down. Also, holding the Water Elemental next to yourself means it gets sweeping strikes, it gets the off dots from the Death Knight.
It's really bad pet management if
this
I'm being
Water
critical.
Elemental is doing nothing but dying. Zeepai the target, though, here, changed my mind, mix it up. And Deeper and Dampening, that's certainly the strategy that could just win them the game. They could just overwhelm the Death Knight with damage. Wildcard Gaming need to end the game.
Yeah, they might be able to. The thing is, Fried Kitty right now, he hits both of his ice blocks. Now Zeepai taking a little bit of burst damage. Once again, the Water Elemental gets killed off from Fried Kitty. Zeepai still getting a little bit low. Looney in a prime position to keep him alive. But the thing is, at this point in the game, Looney, he's way behind on mana. Minpoike's been doing a really good job managing his mana so far in the match. Zeepai has to get the Life Cocoon as well. So big cooldowns being traded out by Wildcard Gaming in order to survive. Acro.
Has it attacked once? Do we have details?
The Water Elemental has not attacked once the entire game. Literally. So that's a big, like Healing Stat asked, what percentage of your damage is that?
It's like third.
That's literally, it's like 10 to 20% of your damage in some games. 20% is very generous, but 10 to 15% of your damage. Finally, the first Water Bolt going to be channeled out.
Maybe he's listening.
Yeah.
Maybe Belay is watching in the call like, hey, what are you doing?
We'll have to see. Zeepai and Blizzo once again on target. This is when they can start really developing some pressure. Unfortunately for them, this is also when Zeepai starts becoming a great target.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. They're behind on mana. Dampening is very high. I feel like Looney at any point could be swapped too. All three members of the team are going to be susceptible to Rogue Mage pressure deeper into Dampening, which are already kind of pretty deep. Zeepai's got Lichborn, so he can rotate some defensive cooldowns more readily, at least, I suppose. Acro finally the target. I think Wildcard Gaming are realizing that Fried Kitty on that Mage is just not taking any damage. I think the Rogue and the Druid are much more prime targets for the TSG. Acro hovering at sub 50% with Feint rolling to reduce the damage and hopefully allow Minpoike time to recover, but with that Nourish build, he is easily healing. Perhaps a split strategy even. Having either the Warrior or the Death Knight going after Minpoike, and then the other, whether it's Zeepai or Blizzo, going after the Rogue or the Mage. A split strategy could definitely shut down the Nourish build that Minpoike is running. It's something we haven't seen them try just yet. Big push on Blizzo. They cut right through that Life Cocoon. Fried Kitty looking to reset that Frozen Orb as soon as possible with the Blizzard. Certainly effective against an Unholy Death Knight and a Melee Cleave in general. It's going to be resetting quite rapidly. Acro looks like he wants to set up on Looney. Looney with no Gladiator's Medallion and no Life Cocoon, so Looney needs to be ready for it. Vendetta's available. Frozen Orb is up. Change my mind at any moment. Can look to switch. They're going after Blizzo instead. Maybe a bit more of a safe strategy. Once Dampening gets to the 30% mark, though, I do anticipate Zeepai is going to be their main focus. Decent damage on Fried Kitty. Can they finally get an Ice Block? They've been working all game to get it. They need it. They're so close, but they get denied. Now Blizzo's behind.
Yeah, Blizzo could easily just fall. Maledict lands, Smokebomb as well. Anti-Magic Zone looking to deny, but a nice counterspell snuck in by Fried Kitty. Nicely done. Blizzo barely holding on. Full bash on Looney, full polymorph. Now what is Blizzo gonna do? He's trying to cut away, but the Ray of Frost channeled in from Fried Kitty could easily take Blizzo down. And still the crowd control's rolling in. Life Cocoon finally comes in the nick of time. Looney has to play catch up on the Cyclone. Minpoike completely on fire in this series.
Minpoike has returned, but now stunned up. Good denial by Zeepai, but he's still so low on health. I mean, Dampening is at 30%. Looney has no mana. I think it's just unhealable damage at this point. Somehow Blizzo stays in it. The essence of Vision of Perfection procced on the kidney shot. Blizzo broke out of a kidney shot from his essence proccing Blade Storm right at a very important time to maybe get some counter pressure. He's going to try and go for the kill, still targeting down Fried Kitty. I mean, it's going to be just so sad if they don't even get an Ice Block from Fried Kitty in this game. I feel like they have not been punishing Minpoike at all for the Nourish build that he's running. They've just been running their heads into a wall on this Frost Mage and getting nowhere. Looney's in crowd control. Blizzo has nothing. Dampening is very high. They pop Avatar to try and get a bit of an absorb. It buys them time for Life Cocoon, but at this far into Dampening, it's not that much of a big absorb, and Minpoike gets the game-winning Cyclone into another. No, gets denied on the follow-up. Maybe Blizzo holds on. There's no mana. How are you even still alive at this point? Change my mind. Are going to clean this up. 3-0. Wildcard Gaming need to find an answer for Rogue Mage Druid, or I don't know how they're going to do in this tournament.
Yep, there's a lot.
And this is one of those matchups where really everyone's a target and anything can happen.
Yeah, we kind of had a hierarchy for these Rogue Mage Druid mirrors where we said, oh, the sap lands onto Nixie. We said that Diabolus was the best, Method Black was second, and then Changed My Mind was struggling in those mirrors. But then Method Black, as always, they proved us wrong. They won the mirror against Diabolus and won that series last week. Now both the teams do open with that though, and I mean, it doesn't get much better than this, does it, Sid?
Usually if the Rogue gets sapped, that is usually the end of the game for the team that gets sapped, but Waz didn't really capitalize on that moment. Method Black kind of just waited, and now Nixie's just going to be on crowd control diminishing returns. Method Black go for a healer kill early on. This seems to be an effective strategy against the Restoration Druids, as you can spell steal the Gladiator Safeguard, but they don't do enough damage. They're not getting the Gladiator Safeguard. They need to keep pushing for it. Waz knows that. He's going to vanish to try and push through for it. They need just a tiny bit more damage. Is Asgrath perhaps not running it? There's the Gladiator Safeguard, but he is easily out of line of sight and recovered. It's good recovery from Asgarath, not overextending his defensive lineup whatsoever. Vendetta available now for Nixie. Where is he going to commit that? Seems like Raikou is the target for Diabolus, but that's a bit strange. Nixie the target now for Method Black, so it appears to me that Diabolus want to do the standard strategy of targeting down the Mage. Method Black are doing a switch strategy between Nixie and Asgarath. So the playstyle already drastically different between these two teams playing the same comp.
We'll have to see. Raikou now in a kidney shot. Good damage coming in from Diabolus. What are they going to be able to get done? Chaz and a bash. Is there any follow-up? Alec looking for the Ring of Frost. Doesn't manage to find it, but there was a Cyclone that landed by Asgaroth. Really good control there. Good teamwork coming in. Nixie getting swapped to. Big burst. Raikou and Waz forced Nixie a little bit defensive in this situation. He has no Cloak of Shadow. He's actually a really good target. And if Waz and Raikou can stay on target, Nixie could be in a lot of trouble. Nice Ring of Frost lands from Alec, controlling up Waz, not allowing him to continue the assault onto Nixie. And now, Waz and Raikou, they're looking to get aggressive on Asgaroth.
Yeah, constantly switching between the Rogue and the Druid, whereas Diabolus are going for the steady strategy of attacking the Mage. But the steady strategy of attacking the Mage may not be the best here. I feel like Method Black have burned so much of Asgaroth's mana as he needs to heal 2 targets. Beautiful Cyclone on Asgaroth. That's going to give time for Waz to potentially reposition. Waz right on top of him, looking for the stun. They Cyclone again. Where's the kidney shot? They could just end the game. Waz gets stunned. He triggers out to go for it. They drop the smoke bomb. They're all inning, but it's not really enough. Nixie actually drops the smoke bomb, on top of Asgaroth, stopping some of the Frost Mage damage, but even still not enough. Method Black, they know what this patch is, those recent hotfixes, and that strategy looks...
This is just another cruise. Whereas I was saying Method Orange, they like to kind of stop your heart for a beat if you're a fan of them. Method Black, very much the opposite. They build up your expectations and then have them tumble down a little bit at the finish line. So we have to see if they can do better this year with that. Method Black 1-0 up.
My assessment right now from the tournament with these recent changes is that mages don't die. I feel like the Mage is not going to be the target for either Rogue Mage. I feel like the Druid is probably the best overall, but the Rogue can be susceptible as well. So I would like to see Diabolus adopt the same type of strategy. Method Black are already going after the healer with Cyclone on Alec and Poly on Nixie as 3 versus 1, and Asgaroth. Whoa! He's just getting blasted out within seconds into this fight. His Gladiator Safeguard going to proc, jumping over to safety now, but still very low on health if they can stay in hot pursuit, but they are unable to. Raikou still the target for Diabolus. They are hammered on this strategy of trying to kill the enemy Mage. Iron Bark of Chaz looks like it should be enough. Method Black actually attacking Alec on the Mage a tad bit, but they would like to get back to Asgaroth either with a blind or a kidney shot as soon as possible. Chaz is moving forward, gets Cone of Colds, shapeshifts out. What is Chaz looking for, though? It just kind of ran at Asgaroth. Maybe he was kind of trying to scare him away with potential Cyclones. Asgaroth then jumps in and looks for crowd control of his own. Alec blinks over, double crowd control casted. Not going to be able to stop both of those. Diabolus have Raikou basically all to himself, but Waz reverses it, stunning up Alec. Method Black reversed the strategies, going after the Mage a bit here, potentially trying to throw Diabolus off.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why, I mean, we can see here actually if Alex is going to be in trouble. Have to see what he's going to be able to get done, but I think one of the main reasons why it's so difficult to take down a Mage in these games is because of Conflict and Strife, both Mages have access to Kleptomania Spell Steal as well as the Temporal Shield. Finally, Alec is going to be forced into an Ice Block, but I feel like he didn't even need to go into Ice Block. He had the Safeguard, he had an Ice Bear. I think he was going to be completely fine. They're looking to reverse the damage onto Raikou, but that's what I was saying. When you have Kleptomania on both Mages, whatever Mage uses Kleptomania first is actually a little bit behind. So let's say Raikou uses Kleptomania on Alec, takes off all of his Restoration, Druid, Heal over time effects. He's completely stripped of any sort of magic healing. All of a sudden, Alec can use Kleptomania and basically get a jackpot Kleptomania, like we like to call it. Then he gets not only his Druid hot back, but all the hots that Chaz has rolling on Raikou. And because of that, this ends up being sort of a stalemate where neither Mage really wants to use their spell steal. They both have access to Temporal Shield, and you can't really dispel that off. And then all of a sudden, both the Mages just become essentially tanks in this matchup.
Iron Bark active on Raikou. Ice Barrier absorbing some hits. Raikou blinking in. Both teams going for the Mage strategy, but Asgaroth is already so far behind on mana. Thanks to the pressure Method Black had initially, they're behind on one Ice Block. I'm not sure if this is a race that Diabolus can still win from this position. It's definitely going to be an uphill battle. Can they pull it off? They need a top performance here. They've got a good opportunity to get solidly into the top 4 with Zizon being knocked out of the competition so early on, but if they can't best Method Black, then they are going to have to do it in the lower side of the bracket, and there are a lot of formidable teams already down there waiting for them. Asgaroth in a full polymorph. Raikou looking for damage on Alec. Chaz continues the chain with the Cyclone. Race against the clock with this Temporal Shield. Is it going to go off in time? No. Ice Block, second out of the way. Method Black they're winning on every single strategy. They've won on the strategies of racing the healer. They're winning on the strategies of going after the Mage. Maybe it's not even a case of Mages don't die. It's a case of Raikou doesn't die.
I mean, so far he hasn't died yet. Alex still alive also. This is his Icy Veins. He's looking to get aggressive, but like I said, Raikou can't really afford to spell steal it. Otherwise, Alec will just take it right back. So, because of that little stalemate, Alec does managed to hold on to his Icy Veins, but unfortunately not able to get anything rolling. I mean, like you said, Method Black, they're ahead in basically every single way. Chaz has more mana. Raikou has both ice blocks. Alec doesn't have another one available for another 3 minutes once Cold Snap resets, and we're going to have to see Diabolus try to make something happen. They're going to be going after Chaz. He reads the situation. He's in bear form. Do they have the damage to take him down? Raikou actually just throws out an ice block, trades caution to the wind. He doesn't care. He's got ice blocks for days in this situation. He uses it as a trinket, trying to get the damage rolling over on Alec and peel a little bit for Chaz, but he gets caught in a polymorph, and that was his Icy Veins. Really not able to accomplish too much. Really good peels there by Alec.
Well, didn't you hear? Raikou can't die. I mean, the ice block is just a trinket for him, so this is going to allow him to get some more pressure, but certainly does open the option to take him down later in the fight. Dampening about 20 seconds away. Mana surprisingly even out, so Diabolus have kept themselves in the game in that regard. Asgrath activating Iron Bark to deal with this push from Raikou onto Alec. Seems like it's going to be more than enough. Nixie setting up, but gets polymorphed. No dispel as Asgrath's blinded. He trinkets, he dispels. Nixie now in a Frost Nova. Raikou looking to get away as soon as possible. Ursul's Vortex is down though. Definitely going to need to be keeping an eye on that. Nixie pulls out of it. Not going to be wasting his Shadow Step. Much more pressure on Alec in this position. No defense for Asgrath. Asgrath is looking for Cyclones, but there are interrupts available. If he gets interrupted here, it could be game over. Smokebomb gets dropped. Waz looking to make a play, but gets intercepted. They pop Vendetta anyway. There's no blocks remaining. Ice Barrier active, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Asgrath's crowd controlled for an extended period of time, and Method Black are just asserting dominance with their Rogue Mage Druid.
Now, they've been forced off the Rogue Mage Druid mirror because Method Black has just been slaughtering them, essentially. Now Nixie coming in the arms way. I feel like this is a worse matchup.
This is a throw. I mean, like, there's no other way to describe it.
Is it really, though? I mean, they already were 2-0 down in the mirror, quite convincingly. I mean, why is this more of a throw, Sid?
After watching Wildcard Gaming play this out, it's Blizzo Warrior. I mean, I feel like the experience overall on that roster is probably a lot more. Perhaps the map is a big factor. We saw Wildcard Gaming playing on large maps. The small map might give the Arms Warrior a little bit more area to move and stay on target. Raikou pre-temporal shielding the incoming stun here, anticipating a lot of damage while his healer was crowd controlled and able to stabilize through quite a lot of it. Although Raikou is certainly taking more damage than we've seen in any other game prior.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing Diabolus has going on for them in this matchup is Nixie's transmog. I mean, when
it's
we
beautiful, always.
Yeah, when we saw Wildcard Gaming run this earlier, Blizzo did not have nearly as good as a transmog, and I think that could be the X factor for Diabolus.
Always has such good transmogs. It's crazy.
Ooh, big setup here on Alec. Interrupt secured from Raikou onto Asgrath, clone onto Nixie, and this is just what we see time and time again. It just seems like control is so much more in favor of the Rogue Mage team. The consistent lockdown of the Mage with Kidney Shot really allows the other Mage to get crowd control out, the Druid a lot more freedom, and it just seems a lot easier in this match for Raikou and Chaz to get follow-up crowd control. Definitely more difficult for Alec and Asgrath.
All right, Raikou taking a lot more damage than we've seen throughout the entire series. So potentially not a throw, but still, it was a matchup that looked so one-sided for Change My Mind earlier in the day. Perhaps Diabolus can do it better. Alec cycloned at low health, trying to anticipate the Iron Bark of Asgrath. Unfortunately not finding it. Cyclone again at low health, making it difficult for Asgrath to heal. No third Cyclone. Raikou looking to set up for some big burst. Waz gets a re-stealth. That's going to set up a stun for Raikou to polymorph out of. Beautiful setup there from Waz. Going for a stealth while the target was Cyclone, securing crowd control. But now Alec is looking to try and avoid the fight. Manages to at least avoid it long enough for Asgrath to get out of crowd control, connect an Iron Bark and Cyclone Raikou on his Icy Veins. Equally responded to by Alec. Solid defense.
Yep, good defensive plays there. Good cooldown management, patience. Bash now onto Chaz. Asgrath moving in, but he has to heal Alec. Alec goes for crowd control, unfortunately unable to find it. Asgrath finds the Cyclone, but where's the damage? Raikou holding on off the back of that ice barrier. Is he going to be able to stabilize? That's the question. Chaz needs to find some heals. Raikou gets sheeped. This is the Iron Bark. He's in execute range. But a big heal comes in from Chaz, allowing Raikou to hold on to his first ice block. We'll have to see. Does Diabolus have what it takes to take him down? No. A massive heal coming in from Chaz. Immediately tops off Raikou. And now it's Diabolus on the back foot.
Ooh, Asgrath sitting through 1 second left with Cyclone. Alec holding on with Temporal Shield. They don't want to use any more, but that was a risky trade, considering they're on match point. Alec cycloned again at low health, but Chaz isn't an intimidating shout. Nixie trying to take the fight into his own hands here to set up the team for victory, but they can't get the follow-up. Waz shuts it down again. again. Waz getting another restyle, setting up the team for beautiful crowd control. That's going to get them an ice block. Perfectly done by Method Black. Now they're with a significant advantage. They need to get an ice block here from Raikou. Perhaps they can. Sharpened Blade, reducing a lot of healing on Raikou, but Chaz is not crowd controlled, easily healing with it and dispensing with that pressure with Iron Bark. Some casted regrowths. Mana is still even. Diabolus still have that at least on their side. No significant advantage there. Asgrath is blinded, but he's sitting through it. He doesn't want to... Trinket's a little bit late into it, connecting Iron Bark. Now, it would be my best guess that Waz wants to switch to Asgrath with that Vendetta in about 10 more seconds. If Raikou, Chaz, and Waz can all connect as 3 members, Asgrath could be in a lot of trouble. Chaz currently in a stun. Diabolus coordinating triple crowd control. Well done on their part. This should net them a nice block, and it does almost immediately. Raikou going to respect that situation. The coordination of Diabolus, I would say overall, looks a lot better than Wildcard Gaming's Warrior, Mage, Druid in terms of offense and crowd control. Of course, their experience together with Rogue Mage is going to be a lot more with that play style than that of Wildcard Gaming, which is much more focused on attrition dampening play style. So maybe this does work, the Warrior, Mage, Druid, but you need a more aggressive stance. They switch to Chaz with 5 seconds left. Can they pull it off? They managed to spell through the guy's medallion, but at the same time, Method Black make their swap. This is what they were waiting for with the Vendetta. Alec needs to help save him, and he does manage to do so, polymorphing Waz away. Chaz is still very low as both Druids struggle to recover. 10 seconds away from dampening. Slight mana lead now for Diabolus.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they can get done. Right now, things aren't looking too bad for Diabolus. Alec has actually not used his cold. Both mages holding onto their cold snap, so could be a long time before we see a third ice block from either of these mages. We'll have to see who decides to use it first. Alec now in a kitty shot. Asgrath mana doing a little bit better than Chaz. Surprisingly, the consistent damage coming in from Diabolus is looking good for their team. Raikou looking to get aggressive with Icy Veins, putting out massive damage. He gets storm bolted up. Nixie with beautiful peels in the game so far. And this is actually a relatively even matchup. Alec is going to be able to hold on for now. The Ice Bear doing its work, keeping him alive. We're at 4% dampening right now, and we still don't know who I favor if the game goes on long. I don't know if either team is really going to have a massive edge when it comes to dampening.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. Right now, it's actually looking better and better for Diabolus. They're in a position where they're even on ice blocks. They're slightly ahead on mana. It appears to me that if you're running the Warrior Mage Druid, you need small maps. So the Warrior can bounce between the targets a little bit more frequently, and as well as setting up crowd control on the 3 members of the team. If Wildcard Gaming are watching this, they could potentially take this strategy and this style for their own advantage to try and thwart the Rogue Mages in the tournament, as there's still 3 predominant ones. Asgrath Trinket's blind here. Another opportunity for Vendetta from Waz to switch to him, but Chaz is in a Cyclone. Raikou's in some trouble. I've been saying Raikou doesn't die, but perhaps here today in this match he will. His Gladiator Safeguard has been triggered. He's not going to have that defense moving forward, but Asgrath is now in crowd control. Alec is the target, potentially needing to cold snap. He would like to hold on to it for another 45 seconds if he can, but I don't think he can. The damage is quite high at 10% dampening. Asgrath is reluctant to commit the Iron Bark in this position. Maybe he wants to hold it for the Vendetta. Waz is now on crowd control diminishing return. He can make a big power play during the moment of time out of this Cyclone. Are they going to go for the swap? No, they go for the Mage. They pop Vendetta. This should be an easy cold snap ice block with crowd control on Asgrath. Alec needs to do everything he can to hold it, but he can't. Cold snap has been forced. Now he's only going to have 1 ice block. Raikou, on the other hand, if he can hold out for another minute, will have 2. I don't think he's going to be able to. Dampening now at 13%. No mana left on his healer. All 3 members in crowd control. Nixie's going to hammer down with a huge assault, netting him that ice block from Raikou. And Diabolus are looking like they could stay alive with this Warrior Mage Druid.
Honestly, I can't help but feel like both mages really misplayed in that situation. I mean, Raikou now, he used his cold snap. He's not going to have, he used it so late that he's not going to have a 3rd ice block for such a long time. I mean, look at this. Now, another 4 minutes until it's available. His cold snap would have been reset at that point, basically in a minute, and he could have had access to that 3rd ice block. If that ends up losing them the game, I think that was just a giant mistake. Alec looking to get aggressive with his Icy Veins. What is he going to be able to get done? Nixie charges over. Big damage now on Raikou. Has to blink out of the frozen orb. Chaz almost completely tapped on mana. The same for Asgrath. Are either of these Druids really going to be able to sneak away and drink? I just feel like pressure for both teams is so high right now. And Diabolus is doing such a good job in this matchup. They could easily take Raikou down. He's in execute range. Are we going to see a spell on Nixie? A nice Cyclone coming in from Asgaroth. If they get any crowd control on Chaz, it's the end of the game.
Oh, it's the end of the game right now. This is unrecoverable. The Ursul's Vortex pulling Raikou. I say that, but it's Raikou. I shouldn't say that it's unrecoverable when it's Raikou who I'm talking about. That looked like a situation that nobody should have been able to get out of alive. They're desperate. They blind Nixie. This is one thing I noted is Nixie's playing a Gnome Relentless Warrior. Just kill him in battle stance in a smoke bomb. I feel like he's been going into battle stance pretty frequently. He's been playing aggressive onto Raikou. I feel like that's an out for Method Black if they want to go for it at any point here. Dampening is now pretty high. Raikou still the target. Iron Bar from Chaz needs to be enough. He's caught in an intimidating shout, looking to sit through it. Maybe going to be using Glider's Medallion on a Polymorph, wanting to save it for the longer diminishing return. Smokebomb gets dropped on an Alec. Could be the second ice block. Dampening is quite high. They're trying to ride on the Temporal. Ursul's Vortex pulls Alec in, but unfortunately Ring of Frost is secured regardless. Temporal stabilizes Alec, and they get Gladiator's Medallion from Chaz. One major objective out of the way. No ice blocks remain. The only thing that is in Method Black's court is that they have Vendetta. Who can they really kill with it? Perhaps Asgrath, perhaps Nixie in a smoke bomb, but they already used a smoke bomb. That's not an option. Raikou is still just hammering away with damage on Alec. Waz is marching forward, desperately trying to connect onto Alec. Chaz jumps in to look for crowd control, but Nixie is there to support. Chaz doesn't have time to fake cast, but they get the polymorph anyway. Perhaps it's enough to get the ice block here. They need to get an ice block with this push. If they can't, they're going to be so far behind. Can they stay on target? They interrupt the poly. They get the ice block. Method Black stay in the fight. Nixie's mixing it up, though, going after Chaz, trying to chop away at the healer. Not trading the bark skin for that attack. A little bit disrespectful, but Chaz makes it out alive. Alec now with no ice blocks, and it's Asgrath who's totally out of mana. Diabolus on match point, and it looks like Method Black have somehow managed to put themselves back in the game.
Yep, they managed to hold on. Both mages, no ice blocks, and like you said, Chaz sneaking away for a drink. That could be the X factor in this matchup. Alec now into a full kidney shot. Waz looking to reverse the pressure. There's still no Vendetta available for another minute and a half. We're at 31% dampening so far in this match. Stormbolt onto Chaz. They make a swap on the healer. Chaz, how are you going to handle the situation? Manages to cross the map, and he's going to be A-OK. Raikou in a perfect position for Chaz to wild charge away, get across the map, and Nixie and Alec, they cannot chase. And that is just essentially wasted damage incoming from Diabolus in that situation. They've lost all their momentum on Raikou. Alec is just so far behind. He's got no ice block for another minute and a half. Asgrath's got no mana, and I think that's just going to be the series. Method Black walk away with it, 3-0. Incredibly well played, but I have to say,
you know, something that the Chalky Milkmen really have only been running here in Europe, so it's nice to see another team step in on it. And Matic, we saw him on the Rogue in the first series. He performed pretty well, but it is his ult. Let's see if he can perform again.
I mean, let's see what they can do. Interrupt on the Looney. Blizzo seems to be the primary target, at least initially. Marl pops the Icy Veins. He wants to have a nice defensive and offensive opener, making sure he can get out the polymorphs, securing a full polymorph on DJ Alec very early on. And now, yes, Dave, taking a little bit of damage. Temporal Shield gets traded out. That's actually the trinket from Looney as well. Are they going to be able to find the Ring of Frost? Unfortunately, it gets denied. Good ward banner by Blizzo, forcing Dave to really second guess using that Ring of Frost. They couldn't kill it off in time, and as a result, Looney's out of crowd control.
I was really hoping to see Penguins switch to Looney after getting his Glider's Medallion without Vendetta. Now they're a bit behind, having put Looney on stun diminishing return. It seems like they're just sold on the Warrior as the main focus point here. Polymorph secured, but Blizzo appears to be A-OK. Finally, the Kleptomania comes in, but they disrupt the chain. Looney can easily get Hots rolling again. Blizzo, though, is going to respect the Vendetta and use Die by the Sword. I think that's a wise move, as the damage can be quite high during that cooldown, but still, the chain continues. A Smoke Bomb dropped, another Dragon's Breath. I don't think there's any polymorph diminishing returns, unfortunately, for a second. Dave is not going to find them. Instead, polymorphing Morrow and holding on, but getting Die by the Sword out, it doesn't exchange 1-for-1 with Vendetta. The next time Vendetta is available, Blizzo won't have that out.
I really like that a lot of these mages are now playing that Firestarter build to reset the cooldown on the Combustion. I think it just synergizes so well in this composition. Combustion trades out. Looney getting all in. Can they take him down through Barkskin? Kidney shot into the Hammer of Justice. Is he going to be able to survive? Yes, Dave, in the meantime, forced into his Cauterize. That's the ultimate sacrifice coming in from DJ Alec as well. Yes, Dave gets Cyclone. Good control from Looney. He managed to weather the storm, now pushing in, looking for crowd control, finds the full polymorph onto Alec. And then now it's Yes, Dave that's in trouble. Kidney shot coming in from Matic. He's trying to play a little bit defensive here. They've basically just given Maro free reign of this game. It's just, he hasn't been tunneled down whatsoever in this matchup, and I feel like as a result, he's been able to get out so much control, a ton of damage, and really just doing a good job for his team.
I don't think they're playing the Rogue Mage Paladin nearly aggressively enough. I feel like they got the initial attack on Blizzo, but now they've abandoned him. They're actually going after Maro. Maro still has 2 ice blocks. I think that they had a good opportunity to switch to Looney that was missed. Hopefully here they can get an ice block at least from Maro, but Temporal Shield looks like it's enough. Looks like it, and actually is. They're 2 different things, though. Looney's still in Polymorph for 1 more second. Does manage to Iron Bark, however, prior to Vendetta. So in this position, I would like to see Matic go for Blind, get Looney's Gladiator's Medallion, and then switch to him. I feel like they could 100-0 him quite easily with the Avenging Wrath and Vendetta. Instead, they're going for Vendetta on Maro. They do blind Looney, but using these at the same time means that Looney gets a value trinket. He removes crowd control and can easily heal through the most powerful cooldown from the Penguins. So I would have liked to have seen Matic split those up a tad bit. Mana is at least in their favor if they can stay alive long enough. Perhaps they can win purely off momentum.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see if they can. Now, Kidney shot on Looney. Do they have the combustion? Unfortunately, they aren't able to find it. Barkskin gets traded up, but that was not combustion. They might just kill Looney outright. Kidney shot, Hammer of Justice. Looney, how are you going to survive? Blizzo helping him out with the rallying cry. Looney barely holds on, but look at this. Looney's still not out of it yet. Combustion gets traded out. I don't know if I like that combustion. I mean, if he can keep Looney low, then good job. But if they had just waited for the stuns with the combustion, I have to say, yes, Dave, I just feel like that was a giant waste.
What if he had Vendetta? I mean, maybe he did the Vendetta at the same time to make Looney trinkets. That's the only thing that makes sense. Because Looney will trinket a blind when Vendetta is used and then try to kill him outside of it. That's the only thing logically in terms of strategy. But if they had Vendetta for that, Looney would have just died outright.
Yeah, but, I mean,
DJ Alex in trouble. Bash, actually, they're going to Cyclone him. I was wondering if they were just going to switch to him at this point. He actually doesn't have much to survive if they do. Penguins are, it looks like they're locked into just tunneling Looney now.
I mean, it's a good situation to be in. Looney and a Hammer of Justice outside of the Kidney shot, and I can't help but feel like if Yes Dave had his combustion there, Looney would have just died. There was no Barkskin, there was no trinket. Just a massive waste there for the Penguins. Unfortunately, mismanagement of offensive cooldowns. Polymorph now onto DJ Alec. Yes, Dave in a little bit of trouble. Good control. Looney manages to find the Cyclone. Keep in mind, there's no Cauterize, there's no Ice Block. And Wildcard Gaming, they managed to weather the storm.
Bit without some of this PvE gear on the live server. You know, he has the Harbinger trinket, he has the new Fishy trinket, and that will be like 30% of his damage in those live games. But on the tournament server, players do not have access to these, so the Arcane Mages aren't quite as potent. That's why we do see more Fire and Frost in these tournaments. It's great to see the might of Yes Dave going against the might of Maro, 2 fantastic, mighty mages.
Let's see what Matic can get done on his Windwalker Monk. I feel like overall, the Windwalker Monk isn't as good in this matchup, but like Zico kind of alluded to, it's going to be a comfort pick, and sometimes that comfort is what's really going to pay off. They're looking for an all-in on Looney. Can they find the leg sweep? They're getting denied every step of the way. Looney getting targeted down. Matic hasn't done anything yet, and Looney's already 50% health. Leg sweep comes in, diminishing return. Matic finally finding some pressure. Unfortunately, he just got smoked. Matic got completely denied in his opener. He got polymorphed again. He's still making an offensive push. I think Looney should be able to survive. He's got the Iron Bark rolling for the touch of death. Matic breaks out of the Nova, and maybe Matic can just stick on top of Looney in this matchup. I kind of doubt it, but we'll have to see what he can get done.
Looks like it's just tunnel Looney this time around. Spearhand Strike still available to interrupt Cyclone on Looney. Matic finally controlled for a second. Yes Dave under fire. DJ Alex struggling to recover. Yes Dave is just going all out. This is the strategy that we saw from Penguins early on in the tournament. They're just an aggressive team. However, Wildcard Gaming is probably one of the best to stall a game. So can the newcomers, Penguins, penetrate through the defense of Wildcard Gaming? It's really where they get all their notoriety, is their ability to survive. So far, Matic is still developing decent damage on Looney. A bit disrespectful not making any trade right now in terms of cooldowns. I mean, it's just the Windwalker, no stuns. You don't really want to have to use a Barkskin in this position, but if he gets caught in a stun, it may not be enough later on. He does manage to avoid Matic, but he's actually kited back to where YesDave is. So if Matic and DJ Alex get over there with a stun, Looney could be in a lot of trouble. Looks like he realizes that. He's trying to reposition. Caught in the leg sweep out of bear form. Could be devastating here. He trades Barkskin. More than fair trade as he was stunned out of form. Ooh, he got rooted on his wild charge. Bit unfortunate for Looney. He's going to be stuck in place, but even still, doesn't seem like he's struggling too much now at this point. The initial surprise from the Penguins has sort of faded away. It looks like DJ Alex's cooldowns have burned down significantly. No Blessed Protection, no Armor Mastery, no Glidier's Medallion into a Cyclone. Unfortunately, on diminishing return. Matic with the Transcendence Spearhand Strike right on top of Looney. Looney repositioning, looking for the wild charge back upstairs. Not going to be getting rooted on that, but gets Ring of Peace back down. Matic passing him back to himself, using Touch of Karma prematurely to get aggressive onto Looney. I'm not sure that was entirely necessary. Penguins are going all out, but they're leaving themselves open defensively with a lot of holes.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Maro's going to be able to get out a lot of crowd control. And I feel like it could be Matic that just easily falls. He's got no Touch of Karma. DJ Alex, he's in a Cyclone right now. What is Matic going to do? No Transcendence available. Gladiator Safeguard does proc, but that was at the back of DJ Alex using his Divine Shield as well as the Ultimate Sacrifice. Big swap here on Looney. He uses Barkskin, but keep in mind he still has his Trinket and his Iron Bark, so he's not actually that vulnerable in this situation. We're going to have to see at least 2 more setups, and the problem with the Windwalker Monk is your leg sweep is just such a long cooldown when you compare it to the Kidney Shot or the Assassination Rogue. I think it's triple the cooldown, so your potential to take down the healer is just so much less.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot less. Touch of Death activated as Penguins are mixing up their target, going after Maro. Huge burst. Is he going to have to Ice Block? Big damage follows up. Looks like he's blinking back to Looney. Doesn't need to Ice Block. Ring of Peace from Matic, passing Maro back to himself. It's always kind of creative watching the Ring of Peace usage, whether or not it's for protecting someone on your team or getting a target back into your face to deal huge amounts of damage. And Matic is using it very well aggressively in this position. Still hammering down on Maro. No Iron Bar for 10 seconds. Double leg sweep. Beautifully done here from Matic, but YesDave can't support. He's stunned up. DJ Alex in a Ring of Frost. A bit unfortunate that Matic's beautiful leg sweep is not going to be able to be capitalized on as his entire team is shut down simultaneously.
Yeah, Matic still trying to put out good pressure. YesDave on the back foot just a little bit. Still has his Cauterize, he still has his Ice Block. Full Cyclone on DJ Alex. YesDave all alone in this situation. Blizzo's all over him. Maro channeling out the Ray of Frost. YesDave, Gladiator Safeguard procs with the Blazing Barrier. That's a massive shield that will keep him alive, but they shred through it. Good offense here by Wildcard Gaming. YesDave, this could be his Ice Block. He's getting dangerously low. Blizzo connects. YesDave forced in the Ice Block, and now there's really nothing left. There's no Divine Shield, there's no Trinket, there's no Ice Block, there's no nothing. They're looking to get aggressive now onto Maro. Combustion trades out by YesDave. Maro with a Temporal Shield should easily be able to survive, and this game is looking good for Wildcard Gaming.
All right, they're in a solid position. I wonder if the Warrior Mage Druid is going to be more prevalent if it actually is successful in the Rogue Mage Paladin. Maybe this is something that even Cloud9 could run if they're still having problems. I mean, okay, but it did work in game 1, although I would say Penguins Rogue Mage Paladin was a little bit off. It was a little bit off, so maybe it's not the best. Wildcard Gaming are just trying to work with what they've got. Good crowd control on Looney. They need a little bit more, though, to get an Ice Block. They find a little bit more. They get the Gladiator's Medallion from him. Now there's opportunity. Unfortunately, Matic, he was a little bit quick to the trigger on that Touch of Death. It gets totally denied by Iron Bark. Now Maro's heavily behind. DJ Alex polymorphed away. Matic's in a Cyclone. That's going to be Gladiator's Medallion, Blessing of Sacrifice. DJ Alex has to make a big trade, but that stabilizes YesDave entirely, allowing him to get a little more aggressive on Maro. And with this time that they can be aggressive, they need to be getting Ice Blocks. They're so close, just a little bit more, but Maro's avoiding them. Polymorphing Matic on his rolls. DJ Alex feared on his connect with Avenging Wrath. And Maro, oh, beautiful Frost Nova on the Tiger's Lust into the Ring of Frost. Maro stalls that attack single-handedly.
Yeah, really nice control there by Maro. YesDave, once again, he's getting tunneled down. Blizzo just putting out tons of damage in this matchup, and it looks like he could just fall. He does. Blizzo just solos them out behind the pillar. Nothing he could really do. The control of Looney and Maro in the matchup was just so high. DJ Alex was good, but the thing is, I mean, if I was making a composition to be good into Windwalker Death Knight, it would be the Warrior Frost Mage Druid. So I don't know if this is necessarily the best pick, but their backs are against the wall. The last 2 games didn't look too great. The Windwalker Death Knight on the small map will allow them high uptime, but I just feel like Morrow and Looney, with their synergy and Blizzo backing them up, should be able to stall out the game until they find a clear win condition.
All right, good damage here from Blizzo and Morrow. Blade Storm and Frozen Orb is going to be a huge amount of multi-target damage that DJ Alex has to heal through. Fortunately, he's changed over to the Restoration Druid, which is a good healer for that type of damage. Perhaps it can be enough for him to overcome the adversity here against Wildcard Gaming. Of course, Penguins are still sort of the newcomer roster in the tournament scene. They're fighting quite the veterans here with Wildcard Gaming. It would be quite an accomplishment if they could even take 1 game off of them. Perhaps they can with the Windwalker Death Knight, but I would say so far, not so good. Big sharpened blade, huge pressure on Matic, netting a touch of karma for Wildcard Gaming. Probably the most important defensive cooldown for the Windwalker Monk out of the way, 1 minute in.
Yeah, really good job by them. Morrow gets interrupted. What are they going to be able to get done? He drops out of Blizzard, still just kiting around. DJ Alex looking to reposition across the map, and we know DJ Alex for his Holy Paladin gameplay. I don't know how much experience he really has on the Restoration Druid. And we'll have to see what he can do. He needs to keep Matic alive. He's in a lot of trouble. There's no touch of karma. Blizzo and Morrow putting out massive pressure. Can he find a polymorph? Unfortunately, Morrow not able to. DJ Alex should be able to keep Matic alive, but there's just so much damage. He's looking to reverse the pressure with a full leg sweep onto Morrow, and he does manage to stabilize. Nicely done. Cyclone coming in from Looney. Anti-magic cell gets traded out by Arma. They're looking to get really aggressive on Morrow and try to get out that first ice block.
Yeah, good pressure from the Penguins. Despite being behind, they still continue to battle it out. Looking to get an ice block. They're so close. 5 seconds away from Iron Bark. They need a bit more damage to push through. 2 seconds away from it.
Oh.
Are they there? They cyclone Looney. This is a surprising amount of healing from Wildcard Gaming. Morrow holds on without needing to trade the ice block during that push. Mana even at this point between the teams. It's not good. You definitely want to be in a lead against the Mage in that regard. Morrow's still the main focus. Ice Barrier going to be absorbing a huge amount of damage there. Arma, Matic, and Frost Nova on the Apocalypse, so Morrow denies all the ghouls from connecting as well. Well timed there on his part. Now Frozen Orb available. Touch of Death at the same time. Damage traded back and forth from both teams. Arma the target, though, being caught off guard and disarmed. He cannot use Death Strike while disarmed. He's very low on health, but Iron Bark appears to be enough. Any magic shield definitely going to make it so. Blizzo marching forward, looking to try and close it out, but I don't think they've got enough damage to do it. Morrow's going to retreat away and avoid the Death Knight. Intimidating Shout. Blizzo looks like he wants to try and end it. Sharpened Blade. Blade Storm. Blizzo looks like he's getting a lot of uptime, and Blizzo is single-handedly killing Arma right now. Gliders Maledict's absorbing a huge amount of healing. Sharpened Blade's reducing it. DJ Alex in the Stormbolt. He doesn't want to trinket a 3-second crowd control when facing a Mage, but it's dangerous for him to sit through it. Blizzo now disarmed with the grapple weapon, trying to slow down some of the pressure. I've not seen this amount of momentum against a Death Knight in some time. Arma finally stable and looking to push forward.
He's not even that stable. He's 50% health in the middle. DJ Alex, there's going to be no Iron Bark. He actually gets locked out. And once again, Arma's just completely on the back foot. Blizzo with a nice grapple weapon is going to, or nice disarm. Arma's actually going to have to trinket out of that so we can get the Death Strikes rolling, but now that's no longer going to be available for the next Stormbolt. The next disarm from Blizzo is going to be devastating onto Arma. We're only 3.5 minutes into this game. DJ Alex has burned through half of his mana. Arma's been on the back foot the entire game, and this is just looking like such a one-sided matchup. Wildcard Gaming with complete control. Where's the opening for Penguins? Do they have to do an all-in on Looney, Sid?
I mean, they're playing Windwalker DK, of course.
Of course, right?
Why are they not targeting the healer already? I mean, they're honestly just wasting time. 4 minutes of not targeting the healer as Windwalker DK? Come on. They've got to. I don't care. They're on match point at this. Like, they've tried everything. It's not working. Try to kill Looney. I feel like that's their only option. It's a good map on hook point. He's not going to be able to really run away too far. He's just sitting down for a drink, chilling the Frozen Orb Blizzard, preventing them from moving over. Looney's now back at full mana, so if there was any time to target the healer, it's basically now. I think they can hear us. Incapacitated on Looney. Matic wanted to move over, but he got Frost Nova'd. Looney's trying to jump away, but gets gripped in. It's almost like they're listening to us, immediately targeting Looney. They get his Gladiator's Medallion and Barkskin immediately. They've already gotten more than they've gotten in the past 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So I would say that that's probably their only way to find victory.
They got Barkskin and they got Barkskin as well as the Gladiator's Medallion. So Wildcard Gaming, they're going to be very vulnerable. You're going to have to see really good peels coming in from Maro and Blizzo if they want to keep Looney alive. If he gets caught in a stun, there's really not too much he can do. DJ Alex has the bash. Looney getting low. Blizzo with a beautiful intimidating shout. Completely shuts down that kill attempt. Full polymorph on DJ Alex. Maddox going to be in some trouble. He's caught into a Stormbolt. He's got no trinket. Karma trades out, but now they can reverse the pressure onto Looney. Looney might just fall. He uses the Iron Bark. He's trying to kite away. Does manage to connect a regrowth on himself. Still trying to just kite away and cross the map. Maro just putting snares on all of the entire team of Penguins at this point. Looney running around the pillar. If Arma and Mata can connect, he's going to be in a lot of trouble, but Arma's actually on the back foot. Caught right now into a disarm. He trinkets out, wants to make sure he can get those death strikes rolling to keep himself alive, but Looney's still in a lot of trouble.
Looney in a lot of trouble here, but Arma equally so. 5 seconds away from Iron Bark. Blizzo chopping him up. Sharpened Blade in 2. It's going to be a big Sharpened Blade here from Blizzo, immediately pressing it on cooldown, but he's in Chains of Ice. He can't connect to Arma. Blizzard is dropped. Arma's actually switching targets to Blizzo. Pressure is much higher right now for Penguins. It seems to me like, why are you targeting the Mage in almost any matchup? Just attack the healer and bounce between the melee. It seems like the most effective strategy from all of the teams so far in the tournament. They've at least gotten more cooldowns in 1:30 than they did in the past 4 minutes, and now with dampening, perhaps they can net a kill with the added healing reduction. Blizzo, grapple weapon by Matic. He looks a bit desperate. DJ Alec doesn't have much. Matic honestly doesn't either, but it looks like they just want to kill the healer. They're going to go all in with such limited defense.
Matic
on the Matic Fury. It's got to be over. Matic in a panic, trading Diffuse Magic. Looks like he's all right. Gladiator Safeguard absorbing all the hits. Looney still the target. Matic pushing forward despite being so far behind. That is the Windwalker Death Knight way. Just disregard everything going on in the game and target the healer. If they can keep it up a little bit longer, perhaps Looney falls.
I mean, we'll have to see. Looney has his trinket. He has Barkskin at this point. He's going to be feeling pretty healthy, and it's Arma that's on the back foot once again. DJ Alex, he manages to connect the Iron Bark. He does keep him alive. Now full leg sweep onto Looney. He's in bear form, though. It's going to make him durable. Touch of Death gets traded out. This is the all-in attempt from Penguins. What is Looney going to do? Barkskin trades. He has the Iron Bark rolling up in around 5 seconds. That's going to be great for him to catch up. Fist of Fury comes in. Blizzo denies with a beautiful intimidating shout once again. The Arms Warrior just doing a really good job in this matchup. I really feel like if Looney can just hold on, if Maro and Blizzo can help him stay alive, then ultimately, I mean, surely Wildcard Gaming is going to be walking away with the victory.
Yeah, it's looking good overall. Looney's managed to weather the storm. He's maintained his mana at a healthy margin. Definitely a bit of a throwaway from the Penguins, but they're still the newcomers trying to take down probably one of the most veteran teams ever in World of Warcraft history. So certainly they are putting on a show as they try to keep their best efforts against the Titans. They make a swap tomorrow. Looney commits Iron Bark. I think it's going to be more than enough. Now Matic, you're in trouble. Fortifying Brew on 10%. At 20% dampening, your healer's interrupted, but he did activate Iron Bark prior. Yeah, I don't like this disarm on Matic. I feel like that would have been much better prioritized onto the Death Knight. You're not really getting any value of disarming a Windwalker. These Cyclones, though, are getting huge value by Looney. Stormbolt, double stun. Looney jumps over. Oh, gets gripped by Arma. Good disruption by Arma. Stopping the Cyclone was very important for Matic's survival in that position. But there's no defensive cooldowns left. If Blizzo just stays on target, Matic dies. He needs to try and kite and avoid pressure, but Blizzard is snaring him down a lot. He's not able to move. Transcendence roll, but he's not rolling line of sight. Blizzo leaps over. Big chop. Wildcard Gaming 3-0.
Yep, well, I think
I love it. Honestly, I love nLite. I was tweeting at them like a fanboy last week after they, put on such a performance. Diabolus with the Rogue Mage Druid. I think they're going to go for a stall-based strategy. I think likely what we see is Nixie on Zuniaki the entire game. Then it's going to be Alec and Asgrath just trying to control Kara, control Cassidy, survive until eventually the Discipline Priest runs out of cooldown or run out of mana, and that's when they're going to win.
We saw Change My Mind beat nLite in the open bracket, but they didn't simply just tunnel the Discipline Priest. They would switch between the Priest and the Feral Druid based on the situation. And right now, Cassidy's used his Gladiator's Medallion. And as a Feral Druid, you can't use your defensive cooldowns while stunned. if they use Smokebomb to limit Zuniaki's defensive cooldowns while stunning Cassidy, I feel like that is the quickest line to victory right now. Although Nixie is being pressured away, he's going to have to recover before making a move. I would like to see them go for that line. They do immediately stun Cassidy, drop the Smokebomb, but where's the Vendetta? Perhaps they're expecting a barrier to be dropped, so they don't want to use the cooldown. Regardless, Cassidy uses his second charge, I believe, of Survival Instincts, so his defense is still somewhat limited, and with Vendetta still available, if Zuniaki is caught in a polymorph, Cassidy could be just deleted.
Yeah, Cassidy could definitely be in a little bit of trouble. That was the smoke bomb. Nixie actually in a lot of trouble. Evasion trades out. Is he going to be able to hold on? Massive damage coming in from nLite. Somehow, Asgroth keeps him alive with a massive heal. That Iron Bark, that was such a close call, but now it's Cassidy who's on the back foot. Cyclone on Zuniaki. Cassidy left in a situation where he's all alone, and he gets sniped, taken down. What a close game, but ultimately it is.
See, it ruins the blood on his game too.
Yep, this should be a quick game as well. We saw how fast and how close Nixie almost fell. Evasion at 5% health, barely holding on. They got the safeguard, and this is something we see from nLite consistently. They're all running the Crucible of Flame essence, and when they use that, it's going to be Zuniaki with the Dark Archangel who empowers them all, and that's where they get that big wave of damage. Nixie gets found, open up onto immediately. That's Iron Bark. Intimidation stun into a full trap. Nixie going to be a little bit vulnerable in this situation. He's playing a little defensive, throwing the blind on Cassidy.
Oh,
I think it actually broke, unfortunately.
Frozen Orb.
Cassidy was out of the Frozen Orb, though. He wasn't in the Frozen
Leap
Orb.
of Faith.
Dropped out.
Zuniaki.
Oh, Leap of Faith. Very nice.
That is some next
I love
level
Zuniaki.
plays. They realized that Cassidy was getting blinded on his Berserk, which is also Incarnation, the most powerful Feral Druid cooldown. So you want to make sure you're getting uptime, but if you get blind sapped, it removes that cooldown. So instead of using the Gladiator's Medallion on it, Zuniaki Leap of Faith Cassidy into an area of effect damage spell from the Mage and breaks the blind. So now Cassidy isn't exposed as a target like he was in game 1. So Diabolus are still tunneling Zuniaki until they see another opening, but Cassidy's going to have a lot more uptime now that he's not focused down.
Yep. Zuniaki trying to run, trying to hide, trying to get his health back to full, but he's in a kidney shot. This is actually a really dangerous situation. Nixie also really low with a trap on Asgroth, but nicely done by Asgroth once again, getting the preemptive Iron Bark, keeping Nixie alive. Full Intimidation Stun. Nixie's still in a little bit of trouble. Do they have the damage to take him down? Zuniaki on the back foot.
Fakes it.
Has to fake out a lot of interrupts into a Garrote silence. Nice vanished Garrote there. There was no interrupts available. Nixie, realizing that, still wants to continue the control on Zuniaki. Trades out the vanish for the Garrote silence, now into a full kidney shot. And this is just such good offensive pressure coming in from Diabolus.
Insane damage right now into Zuniaki. Pain suppression doesn't even look like it's enough. Oh, this Cyclone. Pain suppression denied. Zuniaki hovers on low health. If he gets stunned and interrupted on these heals, it's game over. He has to fake cast Counterspell. He gets through kick. He's trying to use Rapture to buy time, but Counterspell's still up. Now he can spam Powered Shield, though. It's not really the end of the world for Zuniaki. Now it could be the end of the world as he's stunned immediately as that Powered Shield began to fade. Great timing by Nixie. Zuniaki once again trying to just line of sight using the Tombstone to avoid Alec and bring Nixie out of range of Asgrath. But Asgrath has anticipated all of this crowd control time and time again, preemptively activating Iron Bark. Nixie wants to just move in for the kill, activating Evasion to tunnel down Zuniaki. Shadow Step to reconnect. Can they finish off Nixie when his Evasion falls before Zuniaki is taken out? Cassidy stuns Nixie. Nixie trinkets to finish. Shadow Mend. He has to fake cast Counterspell. Can he do it? He manages to sneak in one Shadow Mend. Defensive Psychic Scream. Alec needs to block this, I think, to interrupt. Nixie's in a lot of trouble. Coco Shadow's faint. Barely enough for him to stay alive. Both teams are running thin in terms of defense.
Yep, Nixie is actually in a little bit of trouble. They land the full trap. Now Nixie could easily fall. If they land a stun, Nixie's just dead. Gladiator Safeguard might keep him alive. He's running, hightailing it out of there. He knows as Zuniaki dispels that, it is game over. Nixie buys enough time. Now he can get back on target, back on Zuniaki. Can they take him down? Kicked on Shadow, kicked on Discipline, stun on Nixie. Are they going to be able to get the cross kill? And they do. Nice plays by both teams. They're both playing it at such a high level.
Then you're going to be in trouble. And also, Hunter counters Fire Mage in some sense as well, because of that Roar of Sacrifice, just makes Combustion basically useless.
Yeah, well, that could be a preview, very, very well could be a preview for the summer finals if M2KC continues succeeding in North America and nLite continues succeeding here in Europe. We're back to Tiger's Peak, this map back in the rotation for patch 8.2. Cassidy looking to unleash the Tiger's Fury.
There's the blind, although it's not on Berserk, so... And Cassidy's positioned on top of Zuniaki, so Alec can't use the Frozen Orb, so the damage is quite limited. Cassidy should be pretty comfortable to sit through this crowd control, and as soon as he gets out, I mean, he is going to rip Diabolus apart. He's immediately popping the Berserk, stunning up Nixie. Kara jumps over to Asgarath. Did he get the freezing trap? He needs to get crowd control on Asgarath so Cassidy can maximize the damage. Zuniaki's the one that's actually still falling behind. Diabolus go all out. They're looking to pull a pain suppression with this stun. Zuniaki holds on, but how much longer? Penance connects. Still sub 50% health. Nixie's trying to be patient with this Vendetta, but he can no longer stay on Zuniaki's tail. Instead, now we see Diabolus mix up their strategies. Polymorph Zuniaki, Cassidy the main focus point. Diabolus spend a huge amount of mana initially to survive that Berserk. Kara now going for the coordinated assaults, a big survival hunter cooldown. His damage is amplified, but without crowd control, Asgarath can easily deflect. Zuniaki in a stun with the polymorph on Kara. Time to deny the mending bandage. The bleeds are going to sit. Zuniaki's in a lot of trouble. Goes for the penance. He fake casts the penance, expecting an interrupt. Now he fake casts the Shadow Mend on the counter spell. Big Shadow Mend's in from Zuniaki. He stays alive as a result.
And he tops off completely. Also, look at how defensive Nixie's having to play in this matchup. Alec actually goes for a full polymorph onto Zuniaki, and they're turning their attention. They lost all momentum on Zuniaki. They could find it quite easily if they do manage to find the full kidney shot with a Frozen Orb. That's when they can start getting Zuniaki low once again. Triple crowd control comes in. It looks good. Zuniaki down to around 40% health. Is he going to be able to keep himself alive? Bending bandage from Kara certainly will help that situation. It's such a powerful ability from the Survival Hunter. That mending bandage is going to be removing all of those bleed, damage over time effects that Nixie has available. Now, counter pressure coming in from nLite. Nixie forced to trade out the evasion. Asgarath was in a full trap, and that evasion is just so valuable for Nixie in order to survive when Asgarath is in crowd control. And without that, he's going to be so much more vulnerable.
It's not lining up with any of the aggressive cooldowns of nLite, so there could be an explosive amount of damage on Nixie shortly, which means that he probably can't stay on Zuniaki. Aspect of the turtle from Kara to avoid being crowd controlled so that he could use mending bandage on Cassidy when he had no trinket for Vendetta. That was a really big heads up play from Kara, but even still not enough to keep him alive. A surprising amount of damage from Diabolus in game.
Try to do a swap to Nixie later on if he, cloaks or evasions offensively. But we'll have to see what they come up with.
Yeah, we will have to see. This is the final series of the day here in Europe for the summer 4th cup of the season. nLite facing elimination if they do lose this game. They need 2 wins on the board if they are to reverse this and knock out Diabolus.
All right, let's see if they can do it. Zuniaki is sapped up and is going to be the initial target once again for Diabolus. Now, nLite, how are they going to respond? They open on Nixie. They're still going for the same strategy of attacking the Rogue. Freezing trap secured prior to Iron Bark, but Blind is currently active on Cassidy, so he can't do any damage. This means that the freezing trap on Asgarath isn't going to really net too much value. Gladiator's Maledict is ramped up quite high into Zuniaki. Spell Steal onto the big Rapture Shield of Zuniaki, as well as the Gladiator Safeguard. A lot of the defense of Zuniaki has already been worked through. Kara is trying to build some counter momentum here, activating that coordinated assault, but Nixie denies with Feint, reducing a lot of that damage. Frozen Orb, but Kara uses Mending Bandage out of range, removing the bleeds during the burst window. Good timing, but even still, it's not enough. Even still, it's not enough. Diabolus come into Summer Cup 4 with